a game that is going to be, as you pointed out, as physical as it probably will turn out to be, keeping your big players, all of your players, but certainly your big players out of foul trouble is going to be really paramount tonight.
Well, definitely it will for Texas as well because, South Carolina goes about 9-10 deep, Craig, and they're going to play them all. And I think one of the biggest keys to this basketball game, Chloe Kitts has just been playing exceptional basketball for this Gamecock team this last 6 games in the playoffs. And when I believe when Coach Staley mentions the spurtability, Craig, that starts and ends with Malaysia Fulwiley.
Yeah.
She is so critical for them in transition. When she comes off the bench, I'm telling you, the pace goes from a normal place to NASCAR. Let's just call it what it is. She can move with the basketball, and it is very hard to limit those straight line drives. Texas must contain that tonight to be successful.
How about on the offensive side, Kathy, on what they have to do against what South Carolina does defensively?
You asked me that in February when Texas played South Carolina in the Moody Center, and I think offensively Texas was so definitive in everything they did offensively. When they went, they had a plan, they went strong, and the momentum that Texas built on the offensive end was what I think won that basketball game for them. This is a team, South Carolina, you're not going to put a vice grip on them defensively. They're too good. So you have got to score in this basketball game to beat South Carolina.
It's the Texas Longhorns against the South Carolina Gamecocks. The NCAA Women's Final Four with a chance to play for a national championship on Sunday afternoon against the winner of the game between UCLA and UConn. Coming up, we bring you the starting lineups in the tip-off of tonight's game from Tampa, Florida, when Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, don't mess with Texas, means we gotta step up, walk the walk, do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all the roads we travel, and all of our traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert. Welcome to Covert Chevrolet in beautiful Bastrop, Texas, where small town values drive big time savings. At Covert Bastrop, we understand what matters to you most. A good deal, great service, and dealing with people you trust. What matters to you matters to us. Rooted in family values since 1909, the Coverts have been serving Central Texas for 6 generations. We want to be your car dealer. Let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop. Together, let's drive. CovertBastrop.com.
KVET FM Austin, 98.1 KVET, Austin's all-time country favorites. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
This is Texas women's basketball from the NCAA Women's Final Four in Tampa, Florida on 98.1 FM KVET. Now for all the play-by-play action of tonight's game, live from Amalie Arena. Here's the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way.
From Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, it's the NCAA Women's Final Four for 2025. The Texas Longhorns against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Good evening, everybody. I'm Craig Way alongside Kathy Harston. Cole Dixon, our producer, back in the studio. Longhorns have won a school record tying, at least in the NCAA era, 35 games. They are 35-3 coming into tonight's game, and that equals the mark of the 1981-82 ball club. For Texas, they are 35-3. South Carolina is 34-3. Both are number 1 seeds. South Carolina was the number 2 overall seed, and Texas was the number 3 overall seed. So the Gamecocks will be the designated home team tonight. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Longhorns, as the lower seeded team, they're looked at as the visiting team, and under the direction of head coach Vic Schaefer. Now in his 5th season as a head coach at the University of Texas, his 20th season overall as a collegiate head coach, and his 40th season overall in coaching as the Longhorns take the floor right now with the Texas basketball band, the Longhorn Pep Band, regaling them with Texas Fight. Vic's overall career coaching mark is 445 wins against 207 losses. The mark at UT is 144-35. The point guard is Rory Harmon, the 5'6 senior out of Side Creek in the greater Houston area. Rory is averaging 9 points per game along with 3.5 rebounds and 6 assists. Joining her in the backcourt is Shea Holly, 6-foot senior out of Westlake High. She's actually a grad student. And, of course, Shea playing in her 171st game as a Texas Longhorn. That is an all-time record. And not only that, she's the all-time winningest player in UT history with 144 victories. Holly, the 6-foot grad student out of Westlake High in the Austin area, is averaging 6 points per game along with 2 rebounds and 2 assists. At the swing position is Madison Booker, 6'1 sophomore from Ridgeland, Mississippi. And she is the Longhorns' leading scorer, averaging 16.5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Madison was named the outstanding player of the Birmingham Regional. She has been named a first-team All-American and is a finalist for the Wooden Award, and it stands a really good chance to make it back-to-back Cheryl Miller Awards. That announcement will come later on. Booker averaging 16.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. At a forward spot is Jakalinga Wenentana, 6'2 junior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Jock averaging 6 points and 3 rebounds per game. And in the middle is Taylor Jones, the 6'4 senior, 6-year senior from Forney. Played her high school basketball at Dallas Christian School and started off her collegiate career at Oregon State before transferring in. Taylor averaging 12 points a game for Texas, along with 7 rebounds and 2 block shots. The South Carolina Gamecocks are coached by Dawn Staley, now in her 17th season in Columbia, South Carolina, her 25th season overall as a collegiate head coach, with a career coaching mark of 646 wins against 189 losses. The mark at South Carolina is 474 and 109. In the backcourt is Tahina Paopao, a 5'9 senior from Oceanside, California, began her collegiate career at Oregon. Paopao is averaging 9.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Joining her in the backcourt is Raven Johnson, a 5'9 junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Raven comes in averaging 5 points per game, along with 4.5 rebounds and 3 assists. At the swing position is Bree Hall, 6-foot senior from Dayton, Ohio. Hall averaging 6 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. At a forward spot is Chloe Kitts, 6'2 junior from Oviedo, Florida, who's averaging 10.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. And in the middle will be Sanaya Fagan, the 6'3 senior from Ellenwood, Georgia. Fagan averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, and a block shot and a half per game. The officials for this Final Four matchup, the crew chief is Brenda Pantoya. She's assisted by Tiffany Bird and Kyle Bacon. You know, we've talked about some of the keys, Kathy. I think some of the other, you brought up how well Chloe Kitts has played and how well in specific, if we might be so specific, how well she's played against Texas in the 3 games. Even in the loss in Austin, she played pretty well, but the 2 games in the state of South Carolina, she was virtually unstoppable.
Well, what makes her so tough to guard, Craig, is that she plays multiple positions. She's very versatile. She can be in the corner. She can be at the top of the key. She can be at the free throw line, the elbow. She can post you up. She can take you up dribble. Just a really hybrid type of power forward. She's not a power forward type built body of a player, but she has power forward type skills because she's wiry and she goes to the rim strong. But what she's also been doing really well for South Carolina is rebounding the basketball. And Texas must be careful. You got to challenge her on the offensive boards. Don't let Chloe Kitts control the defensive boards tonight.
The other player who's come under a lot of attention lately in South Carolina is Bree Hall and what she's done defensively. And Dawn Staley's asked about it, and they like to call her breezy because on the offensive side, she can be pretty breezy as she moves into the bucket. But she's been one tough defender, and I think a lot of folks are kind of focusing in on that matchup between Bree Hall and Madison Booker because they wound up guarding each other quite a bit in the 3 ball games. And to be honest, when South Carolina was winning the games, Bree Hall got the better of Maddie, and then in the game in Austin, Booker got the better of Bree Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. What's also been impressive, it's funny, Craig, I haven't even mentioned Joyce Edwards and Sanaya Fagan who come off the bench.
The leading scorers.
Exactly, who come off the bench. And their South Carolina's front line has really been the difference for them in the postseason. And Texas has got to accept that challenge. We talk about the Texas front line with Booker, Taylor Jones, and Kyle Oldacre. Texas has got to bring it on the front line this evening.
Longhorns, as a designated visiting team, will wear the road uniforms for the first time in the NCAA postseason. They've been a 1 seed all the way through, wearing the white, but South Carolina a higher number 1 seed, if you will, the number 2 overall number 1, and Texas the number 3 overall number 1 seed. The Longhorns attired in the burnt orange jersey tops, burnt orange shorts. Texas emblazoned in white block print capital lettering across the front with a white numeral beneath it. The players' names spelled out in white block print capital lettering on the back of those burnt orange jerseys, and a large white numeral gracing the back of the traveling burnt orange jersey tops, burnt orange shorts, white numerals lettering and trim. South Carolina in home whites. They have white jersey tops and white shorts. It says South Carolina. The colors are garnet and black. That's garnet red and black. And they have that, but they also have a stripe down the side that resembles a flame, if you will, because there's yellow involved in that. But it says South Carolina in black numerals, black lettering across the front, outlined in garnet red with a black numeral outlined in garnet red. Players' names spelled out in black block print capital lettering on the back of those white jerseys, and a large black numeral outlined in red on the back of the white jersey tops, white shorts, and they have black numerals lettering and black and red trim. Some fans still filing their way in here, but of course this event has been long a sellout. This is the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning of the National Hockey League. Kathy Harston, some 20 years ago, I called an arena football league game in here between the Austin Wranglers and the Tampa Bay Bandits here in this building. And it's a good multi-purpose arena. And as we mentioned, the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning of the National Hockey League. But this week, the home of the NCAA Women's Final Four. One adjustment I want to make in description of the South Carolina uniforms. They've gone to this alternate uniform, and they wore it in the Elite Eight. Instead of the block print capital lettering that says South Carolina on the front, they have their logo, which is a large block C with the Gamecock logo inside of that and the numeral beneath it in garnet red. So they have that. And they will move from left to right here in this first half. And the Longhorns will move from our right to our left here in this first half as you picture it in your mind's eye across your radio dial. Texas trying for win number 36. It would send them to the national championship. Winner of this game will play on Sunday afternoon. Brenda Pantoja will toss the basketball in the air. We're happy you joined us. We're underway. The Longhorns control the tip, moving from right to left. Lori Harmon operates the dribble as South Carolina opens in man-to-man. Harmon with a bounce pass. Works it to the right side of Shea Holly. Up top, Jacqueline Owentana. Now to the left side, Madison Booker. Coming off the screen is Harmon. Rory sends a bounce pass to Holly in the paint to a double team Taylor Jones. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Harmon. Left side. Leans around traffic. Threw up an air ball. Missed it, but Taylor Jones got the rebound and then had her shot blocked, but she was fouled from behind. And that's a quick foul on Chloe Kitts that'll send Taylor Jones to the free throw line.
Yeah, good start for the Horns. Rory's attempt was just a little bit short and came right down to Taylor's hand. So, again, that was very aggressive by Taylor. Just pop right back up with it and draw the foul.
So, Taylor Jones on the line, shooting two. And the first one's good for Taylor. 77% from the free throw line this year, 80% in Southeastern Conference play. So, the Longhorns score first. Second free throw good, and Texas leads it 2-0 here in the opening minute of action. South Carolina will inbound the basketball. But again, moving left to right here in half number one. Inbounded, and Chloe Kitts will bring the ball into the front court for the Gamecocks, guarded by Jacqueline Owentana as the Longhorns open in man-to-man. Now it goes to the left side. Entry pass broken by Owentana, and the Longhorns steal it. Here's Booker with a bounce pass, and it was knocked out of bounds by South Carolina, but Jacqueline Owentana got a hand in to disrupt the pass.
Yeah, the length that Jox has done a great job of denying passes and just had her hand there, and South Carolina, just a bad pass.
So the Longhorns inbound on the baseline. Harmon looking up top to Booker. Maddie, a contested 15-footer is good for Booker.
Yeah, that was with ease right there. You just love, Booker just stayed so poised right there. You'd love to see her knock down the first shot tonight.
Texas with a 4-0 lead. And now to the left side. On the drive to the bucket, Sanaya Fagan went too far and, in fact, flattened Rory Harmon, who took the charge. And it'll go back to Texas as Sanaya Fagan picks up her first foul.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I really expected Fagan to pull up because Rory was there for quite a while on that drive. Just ran right over her.
So it'll be Texas basketball with the Longhorns out to a 4-0 lead. And it is inbounded to Harmon. Rory will bring it across the timeline. And she's being guarded by Raven Johnson. Swings a pass high on the left wing to Taylor Jones. Up top now. Works it to Jakalinga Wenentanda. Back it goes to Harmon. Rory pounding out the dribble. Flips a pass. Bad pass. It was stolen. Taken away. And driving in to score off the glass is Te-Hina Paopao.
Yeah, just kind of flip that up right there. South Carolina plays defense just like Texas. So they're going to go for a lot of steals, and they're always in the passing lane.
Texas 4, South Carolina 2. Harmon with a bounce pass to Booker. Onto the right side. Flips a pass to Wenentana. Jock driving in around traffic. Left-hander off the glass for
Craig,
2.
I love that. Right there, that could be a real difference right there. But the matchup that Jock has, that was a strong take. She loves to go with her left hand and does a great job finishing.
6-2, Texas. Bounce pass. Goes over to the right side of Fagan. Working against Taylor Jones. A step-back jumper is short off the front iron. Scramble for the rebound, and Harmon comes away with it for Texas. Into the front court. Rory driving through traffic. Middle of the lane. Now pulls the ball back out front. Harmon looking for a target as she rolls the dribble out between the circles. Harmon still pounding it out. And Johnson picked her pocket. Just took it right out of her. And Raven Johnson drives, stops, shoots, and missed it off the rim. Wenentana tipped the rebound loose to Harmon, and the Longhorns have it. So the turnover does not yield points for the Gamecocks. And Harmon being bumped by Raven Johnson. No fouls being called. They're letting them play for now. Harmon onto the right side. Coming off a screen, Booker, right elbow jumper, good for Maddie.
Wow, looking smooth so far, Craig. Just a great circle, curl cut, coming off of a good screen on the low block.
Texas up 8-2, 7:15 to go here in the first quarter. To the left side, on the dribble is Bree Hall. Her first touch, really. Hall trying to drive past Booker and does. Drives in, but there's defenders there. And then she dumped the pass in the corner of three-pointers up. That's no good by Raven Johnson. Scramble out of bounds. We'll say off Texas. South Carolina will have it with 7 on the shot clock. And the first substitution of the ball game as Chloe Kitts checks out. And Joyce Edwards is on for the first time for the Gamecocks. 6'3" freshman from Camden, South Carolina. And she's the leading scorer for USC, averaging 13 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. 7 on the shot clock. It's inbounded to Sanaya Fagan. Holding, still holding. It's down to 3 to shoot to the right side. Driving, shooting as Edwards missed it. And the rebound, Taylor Jones for Texas. Into the front court. Off to Harmon. She'll drive from right to left. Looking. Now back into the lane. Stops. Hesitation. Jumper off the back iron. No good. And the rebound to South Carolina. That one. But stepping on the baseline was Paopao. It'll go back over to Texas. Te-Hina Paopao rebounded the miss, but stepped on the baseline, starting back up the floor, and the Longhorns will get the ball back on the turnover.
Well, you couldn't ask for a much better start for the Horns offensively, Craig. Again, I love the aggressiveness and just the assertiveness and the decisiveness on the offensive end.
It'll be inbounded by Shea Holly on the baseline. Bounce pass to the baseline. Harmon open. 12-footer good.
Yeah, Rory Harmon's going to make that shot right there, Craig. That's an inbounds play Texas has run all year long.
It's a 10-2 Longhorn lead. 6:25 to go in the first quarter. Here's Paopao on the dribble, trying to work her way past Harmon. Rory went under the screen and now picks her up again. Pass flipped in underneath to Joyce Edwards, guarded by Shea Holly. Then flips a pass into the paint underneath Sanaya Fagan, scores off the glass.
Well, that was good help by Shea Holly, but we forgot to rotate on the backside. Got to drop quicker than that.
It's a 10-4 Texas lead here in Tampa. 4 minutes into the action. Pass goes high post on the left side to Taylor Jones. Now to Jakalinga Wenentana, being guarded by Joyce Edwards. Flips a pass and went off of Shea Holly's hands, but in to Taylor Jones. Missed the jump hook. It went out of bounds off Texas, and it'll go back to South Carolina. 5:51 remaining here in the first quarter. Mylasia Fulwiley will check in. She'll replace Sanaya Fagan or Bree Hall, rather. And now Paopao checks out as well. So it is Sanaya Fagan who checked out. And Mylasia Fulwiley, 5'10" sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina, averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And South Carolina with the basketball. On the dribble is Raven Johnson. Works it to Joyce Edwards. Up on the right side. Swings a pass over to Mariam Dodd, who had just checked in. Dodd, 6'4" junior transfer from Bentonville, Arkansas. Transferred in from Arkansas. Misses the turnaround jumper. She averages 2 points, 2 rebounds per game. Rebound Texas. Into the front court. Booker, no look pass. Harmon working away along the baseline, back out front. It goes to Holly in the corner, baseline jumper, good. Madison Booker.
Craig, beautiful ball movement by Texas. That touched everybody's hand on the court except Taylor Jones.
And Booker steals the down-the-floor pass that was intended up the right side for Dodd. And the Longhorns have it on the turnover. They lead by 8 at the midway mark of this first quarter. Rory Harmon on the dribble at the top of the arc. Angles right side on it. Swings a pass to Booker. Almost lost the dribble. Had it knocked out of her hands. It'll go into the backcourt, and they're going to call over and back. And the Longhorns are saying, hey, South Carolina touched it, but Brenda Pantoja said your player touched it last before it went into the backcourt. It'll go as a Texas turnover. It'll be South Carolina ball after the first official timeout, but a good start for Texas. 4:52 remaining in the first quarter here in Tampa with the score, Texas 12, South Carolina 4. Here at the NCAA Women's Final Four, Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert. Welcome to Covert Chevrolet in beautiful Bastrop, Texas, where small-town values drive big-time savings. At Covert Bastrop, we understand what matters to you most. A good deal, great service, and dealing with people you trust. What matters to you matters to us. Rooted in family values since 1909, the Coverts have been serving Central Texas for 6 generations. We want to be your car dealer. Let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop. Together, let's drive. CovertBastrop.com.
WinStar World Casino and Resort is your place to feel like a star. Or pamper yourself in the new multi-story WinStar Spa. WinStar is the place to get the star treatment you deserve.
This broadcast of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the NCAA through Westwood One. It is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood One is strictly prohibited. Craig Way, Kathy Harston with you from Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida. Longhorns off to a good start in this NCAA Women's Final Four matchup as they lead the South Carolina Gamecocks 12-4. The Longhorns have hit 5 of their last 7 shots. The Gamecocks only 1 of their last 7. Texas is 5 of 8 from the field to start the ball game. South Carolina is 2 of 8, and we always like to follow the rebounds. So far, Texas an early edge, 5-4. Also the turnovers. Gamecocks have 4. Texas just committed its 3rd turnover, and the points off the turnovers favor Texas early, 4-2. But how about your early impressions?
Well,
Kevin?
the ball movement by Texas. The ball can always move faster than the player, and I think Texas has really swung the ball from side to side very, very well. That has given them time to just shoot and take shot attempts that are in rhythm, Craig, which has been so effective. You know, it's been a while since Texas has started 5 out of 8 in any basketball game
That's a good
lately.
point.
Shooting 62%, but you know, and a lot of that is just just the rhythm of the offense right now is really, really good.
Well, the Longhorns have needed good starts against South Carolina, and really and truly, Kathy, even in the 2 games in Columbia or in South Carolina, 1 in Columbia and 1 in Greenville, the first quarter was pretty good. Played it pretty tight. It was the second quarter where the bottom fell out, where it was a 15-0 run for South Carolina and a 13-0 run for the Gamecocks. So obviously we'll have an eye on the second quarter, but the first quarter is building toward what could be a really good first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I'm pretty jaded. 2 of those games were home court advantages for South Carolina. 17,000 in Columbia, and you know what a atmosphere they have there, and then about that many in Greenville for the SEC championship game. But wasn't a home court in Austin and not a home court advantage here tonight, so we'll see how it plays out.
Longhorns sold out their ticket allotment, as did South Carolina. Gamecocks inbound the basketball out of the timeout, driving in, and they're going to get a Texas foul. Brenda Pantoja on the call. The Longhorn foul is going to be on Rory Harmon. Picks up the first Longhorn foul of the ball game. It is a shooting foul, so there'll be 2 free throws coming now for Joyce Edwards. Edwards able to drive in and draw the contact. So Edwards on the line.
That's not a shooting foul, Craig. That was on the floor. That's what Vic is complaining about.
Yeah, he's saying it was that. Brenda Pantoja said it was a shooting foul and said the ball came loose. And, yeah, they're going to say it's not a shooting foul.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no way. She bumped her about at the second hash mark from the free throw line.
So South Carolina will inbound the basketball. It's the first foul against Texas in the ball game. Inbounded for the Gamecocks, Mariam Dodd to the right side. Drops a pass off, now back out front. Over to the right wing on the dribble. With it is Tessa Johnson, who's just checked in. 7 on the shot clock. Johnson threw the ball out of bounds. Good pressure on the ball from Madison Booker, and Tessa Johnson threw it away.
Yeah, Booker's 6'2" frame right there made that pass go straight out of bounds. And again, you know, I'm all for South Carolina throwing it out of bounds, but you got to throw it toward the rim. That's the only chance you have at scoring.
Tessa Johnson is a 6-foot sophomore from Albertville, Minnesota, averaging 8 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist and a half per game. Longhorns with the ball, and they're going to get a holding foul, and that one, I think, is going to be on Tessa Johnson. It is for holding. She just turned over the ball after checking in and then commits a foul. Dawn Staley unhappy with Brenda Pantoja's call. Longhorns will inbound on the side, and that's the third team foul against the Gamecocks. Inbounded to Harmon up top. Rory on the dribble, right to the left side, down to the baseline, shooting from there. They're going to call an offensive foul now, and that one's on Taylor Jones inside, and it will wipe out a baseline jumper from Booker. So Taylor picks up her second Texas foul of the ball game. South Carolina will inbound the basketball. Some pressure in backcourt. Now it drops off, and it'll be Tessa Johnson who brings it into the front court for South Carolina. Johnson over to the right side on the dribble, trying to drive into the paint. Got around Booker with a runner that went off the rim, but an offensive rebound shot up. That's no good by Dodd, but she was fouled, and she'll go to the line. The foul was on Jacqueline Wenentanda. That's her first. And so there'll be free throws to come. Mariam Dodd will be on the line.
Greg, when the shot goes up, there wasn't a whole lot of effort by anyone in a Texas uniform trying to get position to box out and get a defensive board. Texas doesn't need to foul South Carolina. They shoot the ball too well from the free throw line.
Dodd, one of those, a 78% foul shooter, and she hits the first of 2. Didn't go to the line that much this year. Was 25 out of 32, though. Misses the second, and then the ball went out of bounds off of Joyce Edwards' fingertips. She was in position for the rebound, but couldn't control it, and the Longhorns will get it back. So Texas with the ball leading 12-5 with 3:50 remaining in the first quarter here in the Final Four. Into the front court, Harmon up top. Jacqueline Wenentana drops it off. Madison Booker swings it back left side. Harmon down into the corner to Wenentana. Jock works it back out front to Harmon again, trying to weave through some traffic. Back it goes down to Shea Holly, driving baseline underneath. Taylor Jones had the ball knocked out of her hands, however, and South Carolina comes away with it. Joyce Edwards on the dribble, driving, and plows right in. A blocking foul is called on Madison Booker. And Brenda Pantoja just turned to the Texas bench and said to the players and coaches, settle down, because they were upset with it. She didn't want to hear it coming from the bench. And so on the line will be Edwards shooting 2. Booker picks up her first. Here's Joyce Edwards shooting 2.
That was a tough call, Craig. I thought it was definitely a charge on South Carolina. And, officials miss those a lot.
First free throw good. They always say that's the toughest call is the block charge. Yeah. Booker definitely looked like she had her position established as Edwards was cutting inside.
Yeah, the only thing that I just saw on that replay, I stand down on
the shoulder.
On her left foot.
Yep.
Her heel was not down on the floor, so that means she was still sliding a little bit. So was the correct call. Brenda Pantoja, I believe, is one of the very best women's basketball officials in the country.
12-7 is the Texas lead. Wenentana off to Harmon. Rory driving baseline, had her shot rejected going up. Knocked out of bounds by Raven Johnson. Longhorns will inbound with 14 on the shot clock. 3:10 remaining in the first quarter. Texas up 12-7. And it apparently went off of Rory when she had the shot block. So it'll be South Carolina basketball. So Gamecocks will have it. And back the other way. Once more.
Foul on Booker.
Yeah, they did. And that's going to be her second. So Madison will pick up her second, and that's a trouble spot here as Booker has picked up 2 here over the last minutes. And she checks out now. The first Texas substitutes for the ball game are coming in. One is Jordan Lee, 6-foot freshman from Stockton, California, averaging 6 points, a rebound and a half, and an assist. The other is Kyla Oldacre, 6'6" junior transfer from Mason, Ohio, transferred in from the University of Miami here in the state of Florida, averaging 9.6 rebounds. First free throw is good for Tessa Johnson. 80% from the foul line this year was Johnson. Tessa's second free throw is also good. And now it's a 12-9 ball game, and Booker's on the bench after picking up 2 fouls. And we're not out of the first quarter. Similar situation what happened the other night in Birmingham against TCU. Into the front court. Harmon on the dribble. Drives to the baseline. Fadeaway jumper good for Rory.
Yeah, Texas needed an answer right there, Craig. You got to keep scoring against the South Carolina team. Longhorns must stop fouling on the defensive end. You're making it way too easy for South Carolina to get points.
14-9 is the Texas lead. 2:35 remaining in the first quarter. Mylacia Fulwiley on the dribble, guarded by Shea Holly. And driving around Holly with a scoop to the hoop and score. That's a tough assignment for Shea to have to guard her.
Yeah, Fulwiley's just really tough in that one-on-one type of situation.
Texas 14, South Carolina 11. 2:20 remaining in the first quarter. Harmon at the top of the arc. Rolls the dribble to the left side. Rory looking inside. Bounce pass coming off a screen. Jordan Lee had her shot blocked but was fouled. And the foul, I believe, is on Dodd. So, Dodd picks up her first. And on the line will be Jordan Lee. Jordan this season, 71% from the free throw line. She shot 67% in SEC games. Shooting 2 here, and the first one for Jordan is off the back iron, no good. She'll have one more. Here's the second one for Jordan Lee. Got that one. 1 out of 2 for Lee. Texas up 4. 15-11. Quick down the floor pass. It goes into Dawn. She traveled. Well, she beat the Longhorns down the floor but couldn't come to a stop, and the turnover will give it back to Texas. Longhorns get it back with 2:07 remaining in the first quarter, leading 15-11. Harmon on the dribble and into the front court. Rory with a bounce pass up top to Kyla Oldacre. High on the left wing. Oldacre still holding the basketball. Now surrenders it to Jacqueline Wenentana. John off to Harmon. Top of the arc. Rory backs out the dribble now. 1:50 remaining in the quarter. Across the floor. Shea Holly thought about a 3. Now dribbling inside. Bounce pass back out to Harmon. 7 to shoot. Here's Rory driving around traffic. Missed the runner off the glass. And the rebound, Miriam Dodd for South Carolina. Into the front court. Onto the right side. Driving to the baseline. Pow weaving through defenders, but in some trouble. Going to be tied up. Gamecocks will keep it on the arrow. And it'll be South Carolina ball on the arrow with 20 on the shot clock. Inbounded up top to Joyce Edwards. Edwards, couple of dribbles, picks it up now, flips a pass out to Fulwiley. A 3-pointer good. Mylacia Fulwiley open for the 3, and it's a 1-point ball game. 15-14 is the Texas lead. 1:15 remaining in the first quarter. Coming off screen to the right side. Wenentana weaving around traffic and gets the left-hander to go off the glass.
What a terrific move by Jock. Again, she's so good with her left hand. And it's hard to keep Jock from making the straight line drive.
17-14 is the Texas lead. Under a minute remaining in the quarter. Edwards driving past. Wenentana drops it off now. Sanaya Fagan underneath to Edwards, who scores off the glass. That's just size feeding size.
Yeah, South Carolina's getting easy shots right now, Craig. They're getting the ball around the rim. You know, just really it's amazing how much Miriam Dodd is a player that doesn't play very much, but Kitts picked up 1 foul and they put her on the bench.
Here's Jordan Lee outside, fired up a 3, missed it, and then Kyla Oldacre got the rebound and is being called for a foul as she hit the deck. Vic Schaefer can't believe it. Well, they didn't call it on. They didn't call it on Kyla because he held up multiple fingers. If it's on Wenentana, it's her second. Now the officials are discussing it. It was a clean rebound by Oldacre, and then when she came down with the ball, then a foul was called. Now what are they going to say? Brenda Pantoja coming over. Okay, the foul was on Dodd. It was on Miriam Dodd. So that's going to send Oldacre to the line for 2 free throws with Texas in the bonus. So Dodd picks up her second personal now. Shea Holly checks out on for the first time for Texas. Brianna Preston, 5'9" freshman guard from Jonesboro, Georgia, averaging 4.5 points, a rebound, and 2 assists per game. So here, Kyla Oldacre shooting 2 in the first one's good for Kyla. 69% from the free throw line this year. She shot 67% in conference play. Second one to come for Oldacre with 32.8 seconds remaining in the quarter. Second one is good. Oldacre converts both. And back on the floor for South Carolina's Bree Hall as she replaces Mariam Dodd, who has to check out now after picking up a second personal foul. So Texas with a basketball, or rather South Carolina, Joyce Edwards on the dribble. Edwards on the left side. Pounding out the dribble. There's about 2.5 seconds difference between the game and shot clock, so the Gamecocks may be holding for a final one. But now Edwards drives to the hoop and rattles it in. 8 seconds left when Intana inbounds to Harmon. Driving down the floor, Rory. 5 seconds. 4, 3, outside. Preston open for 3, and that was badly misfired as it missed everything, and that'll do it for the first quarter. The Longhorns did not trail in the first quarter, but led at one point by as many as 8, and the lead is down to 1. Into the first quarter from here in Tampa with a score, Texas 19, South Carolina 18. From the NCAA Women's Final Four, Texas women's basketball will continue in a moment.
Fly to Philly, take off to Tampa, depart for Denver. Following your team on the road is more rewarding with the American Airlines Advantage program. Your flights and everyday spend not only earn you miles toward your next trip, but also loyalty points toward Advantage status. All the more reason to purchase both a home and away jersey. With status comes great benefits like priority boarding, free check bags, and complimentary upgrades. Not a member? Enroll for free today at aa.com. American Airlines, you are why we fly. Terms and conditions apply.
Shop's simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. You're busy. So, Leif Johnson Ford has made it simple. Pick yours at leifjohnsonford.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson Ford. Leif Johnson Ford has made
Texas with a 19-18 lead on South Carolina. Craig Way and Kathy Harston with you here. And the Longhorns in the first quarter shot 50%, hit 7 of 14 shots. South Carolina 46%, but the Longhorns cooled off toward the end of the quarter. The rebounding edge for the Gamecocks now 8-7. The turnovers, 6 for South Carolina, 5 for Texas. But South Carolina actually scored more points off the giveaways, 5-4. You brought up a point about Mariam Dodd, who was on the floor for the Gamecocks, and she played a lot more minutes in that first quarter than we saw Dodd play in any of the prior 3 games against Texas. She had 1 point and a couple of rebounds in that first quarter, but I guess Dawn Staley trying to neutralize some size inside.
Yeah, absolutely. With Kits on the bench right now, just went to Dada and held her own. And you don't need to waste fouls on a player that doesn't score very often by sending them to the free throw line. But again, if you're Texas, you're happy to have the lead right here. But I think you saw the spurt ability of South Carolina. I think the bench points and the points in the paint and the fast break points. South Carolina scored 6 points in transition, and Texas must limit what they can do in transition.
Crowd recognizing some of the greats who are here from women's basketball, including Sue Bird, who's in attendance, and some Hall of Famers out here as well. This has always been kind of a nice gathering place, just like it is for the men's Final Four, for some of the greats of the game to come here to the Final Four, and they're always recognized when they are here, since this is the premier event for the entire season for women's college basketball.
Well, the Women's Basketball Coaches Association has their annual convention, which started yesterday, and a large number of, actually from high school to all the way through Division I coaches attend that convention. So it's always just a fun time. And coaches always like to go to where if there's warm weather and a beach. And there's definitely a lot of beaches around here, and it's definitely been warm in Tampa, Florida while we've been here.
Yeah, no question about that. All right, so with the first quarter down there, like I said, the Longhorns got off to a really good start. Finishing at the basket, I think, would certainly be important. And then you pointed out they were giving up too many straight line drives and some easier stuff for the Gamecocks late in the quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, Texas has got to get control of the game around the rim right now. South Carolina is just going there very forcefully, and there's got to be some resistance at the rim by Texas.
So, out of the quarter break, it'll be Rory Harmon and Brianna Preston, Jordan Lee, Jacqueline Winantanda, and Kyla Oldacre as the Longhorns inbound the ball. And it is Harmon who operates the dribble. Over the left side to Oldacre. Now up top. Swings it coming off the screen is Preston. Now works to Winantanda. Off to Harmon again. Rory dribbles into the paint. Bounce pass to Preston. Driving. Put it up off balance. Went off the rim. No good. And the rebound South Carolina. That's pulled down by Joyce Edwards. Gamecocks with the basketball and into the front court. Holding the basketball is Sanaya Fagan. Swings it out on the left side. And then flips a pass underneath as it goes to Edwards. Guarded tightly into the corner. Quick ball movement inside. And a jump hook is off the mark by Fagan. No good. And the rebound Texas. Into the front court is Harmon. Rory on the dribble at the top of the arc. Drops it off. Swings it to the left side. Working the basketball to Jacqueline Winantanda. Winantanda into the left corner. Jordan Lee, a one-touch pass. Left block. Oldacre backing down in the lane. Turns. Had the ball knocked out of her hands. She hit the deck. South Carolina comes away with a loose basketball. In transition, Tessa Johnson outside. Pow, a three-pointer good.
Yeah, there they are in transition. We've had all this action going on, and forget about Pow, who's the best three-point shooter on their team.
Yep, and South Carolina, as a result of that, has its first lead of the ball game at 21-19. Pow with 5 points. Harmon to the left wing, works the basketball around to Kyla Oldacre. Up top, Jacqueline Winantanda. Swings it to Harmon. Now to the left side. Lee open for three. That's no good off the rim, but an offensive rebound run down in the left corner by Winantanda. Dribbles into the paint. Lee will try it again. Left wing. This time she nails the three-pointer.
Well, smart play by Jock to kick it right back out. Just watch for her teammate. Jordan did a great job of spotting up and getting her feet set.
Texas back in front, 22-21. South Carolina with the basketball. And rolling the dribble around is Pow working against Harmon. Still trying to find a target. Sends it in, and then that's going to be a blocking foul called on Jordan Lee, and there are going to be 2 free throws to come. So, Jordan Lee will pick up the personal foul. And that'll be her first, and that's going to send Joyce Edwards to the line. Edwards hit 2 free throws in the first quarter. And so here's 2 free throws for Edwards. The first one is good. She'll have one more. Second one. Good. Made them both. Did Edwards. She has 8 points. And Taylor Jones will be back on the floor for Texas. Jacqueline Winantanda will check out. So it's going to be like a twin post alignment right now with both Oldacre and Jones on the floor.
Yes, will be interesting. I look for Texas could probably go high-low with Taylor maybe being at the free throw line, a good free throw line shooter. And actually Kyla is as well, too, so it'll be interesting to see. And now Dawn Staley got Kitts back in the game really quickly on that substitution.
Boy, she did. So they go with their bigger lineup as well. Shea Holly back on the floor as well for Texas as she checks in. Texas with the ball. Trailing by a point, 23-22. 2 minutes gone by second quarter. Off to Taylor Jones. To the left side, on the dribble, Jordan Lee tried to feed Taylor Jones with a pass, put too much on it, out of bounds on the turnover to go back to the Gamecocks. So South Carolina will have the basketball. And quickly up the floor for South Carolina. A look back over the shoulder As looking back on the dribble is Tessa Johnson. Johnson looking, sends a pass into the paint. Now back out front. Over on the right wing, Raven Johnson on the dribble, weaving through some traffic to Chloe Kitts going in. She took about 3 steps, lost the ball out of bounds, but they could have called traveling very easy on that and did not.
I thought she traveled right when she took off, Craig. It looked like she stumbled a little bit, and that's where I thought the walk was.
No doubt. So Texas will have the basketball. And Harmon has it on the dribble. Flips it high on the right wing to Taylor Jones. Now to Kyla Oldacre. Coming off a screen. Jordan Lee had the ball knocked out of her hands and went out of bounds. She touched it last. It'll go over to South Carolina. Pow. It disrupted. Longhorns have got to be crisp on those passes with the way that Pow and Fulwiley defend the perimeter passing game.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Craig. Just a really lazy pass. And actually, that I think Jordan should have let that go. I think it was going to be off of Pow.
I think you're right. Meanwhile, Tessa Johnson checks out for the Gamecocks. Also, Kyla Oldacre checks out. Jacqueline Winantana back on the floor for Texas. Ilasia Fulwiley back on for USC. Works it to Pow. Off to Chloe Kitts now. Tahina Pow on the dribble, working against Rory Harmon in the paint. Flips a pass. Too much on it. Off the fingertips of Fulwiley, and the Longhorns come away with a steal. It's Harmon who has it. Sends it across the floor. Shea Holly in the left corner. Now out to Winantana. Left block. Swings to the right side. Harmon, shot fake, steps around a defender. 12-footer off the rim, no good. And the rebound, Raven Johnson for South Carolina. Gamecocks with it. Into the front court to the trailer as it goes over to Pow. Underneath, Sanaya Fagan puts it home.
Yeah, easy, just too easy for South Carolina to score, Craig. Again, the extra pass right there caught Texas out of position.
25-22. Remember, we're kind of watching this second quarter closely, and so far the Longhorns have 3 points here in the second quarter, but that's it in the first 4 minutes. Now Shea Holly with a bounce pass in the left corner. Works into the paint. Jordan Lee around traffic, off the glass, and coaxes it home.
Yeah, good move by Jordan Lee. They took away her right-handed drive, just a little counter move, kind of a step back, a fadeaway.
Fulwiley drives in the paint and floats one in. Malaysia Fulwiley with 7 off the bench. Gamecocks lead by 3, 27-24. By the way, Vic Schaefer is going to roll the dice at the next dead ball. He's going to bring Madison Booker back into the ball game with 2 fouls. Harmon on the right side with a bounce pass to Jordan Lee. Now up top, Jacqueline Winantana swings it left side. Shea Holly looking into the paint. Holly coming off the screen. Harmon receives the pass into the corner. Baseline jumper, good. Jordan Lee from 15 feet.
Yeah, good work without the ball, Jordan Lee. Way to keep yourself moving. You're a scorer. Be an option for the Horns right now.
Jordan Lee has scored all 7 Texas points here in the second quarter so far. Longhorns back within 1. 27-26 South Carolina as we approach the midway mark of quarter number 2. Fulwiley on the dribble, guarded by Lee, and then South Carolina throws the ball away. Texas will get it back. Brianna Preston will check in. Rory Harmon will get her first breather. And with 2 fouls, Madison Booker will check back in. Winantana will check out. Do you think Vic wants to play this at least situationally with Maddie right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Booker's just going to have to be smart. You know, she's an All-American. You can't take chances. Just, don't push off. Don't run into people. Just play your game. Run the offense, play good defense.
To the left side. Now on the dribble back to the right. Brianna Preston swings it into the right corner. Madison Booker back to Preston. Top of the arc. Swings it left side. Shea Holly. Bounce pass. Taylor Jones had it, lost it, got it back against the triple team. Got it back out front to Preston. 7 on the shot clock. Bree driving through traffic and scores off the glass.
Yeah, that was quick, Craig. She recognized there was no one between her and the bucket and just that one quick dribble.
First basket of the ball game for Brianna Preston. Then I think they got Bree with a foul afterwards. And it is on Preston right after she scored the bucket. It'll be South Carolina ball after the official timeout. 4 minutes, 33 seconds remaining here in the first half. Here in the NCAA Women's Final Four, it's Texas 28, South Carolina 27. Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
WinStar World Casino and Resort is your place to feel like a star. Catch some of the biggest names at the brand new Lucas Oil Live. Dine in style with countless restaurants and bars. Or pamper yourself in the new multi-story WinStar Spa. WinStar is the place to get the star treatment you deserve.
wait to drive to the hoop? Pull up to Onion Creek Volkswagen, where our deals are nothing but net. Whether you want to slam dunk on a new Jetta or go downtown with a pre-owned Tiguan, we'll call the perfect play for you. Visit Onion Creek Volkswagen today and score big with our unbeatable offers. Don't miss your shot. Visit us at Onion Creek Volkswagen, where every deal is a buzzer beater. Onion Creek Volkswagen, Austin's most valuable dealership.
South Carolina has hit its last 3 shots. Texas has hit its last 3 shots. Been a pretty evenly played ball game. Longhorns lead by a point here at the midway mark of the second quarter here in the NCAA Women's Final Four. Longhorns up 28-27. Texas is shooting 52%, South Carolina 53%. The Longhorns 11 of 21 from the floor. Gamecocks 9 of 17. South Carolina has knocked down both of its three-point attempts. Longhorns 1 of 4 beyond the arc. Texas 5 of 6 from the foul line. Gamecocks 7 of 8. The turnovers 9 for the Gamecocks, 8 for Texas. South Carolina with an 8-6 edge in the points off the turnovers, 10-9 the rebounding edge of the Gamecocks. In short, Kathy Harsin, very, very tightly played first half to this point.
Oh, you had to expect this. You know, Texas got off to the big start, which was great to see. I think it gave them a lot of confidence. You knew South Carolina is definitely going to make runs in this basketball game, and hopefully Texas will as well. But again, I think Texas has got to get something going inside with Taylor Jones and Kyla Oldacre, Craig. There's too much action with the South Carolina big scoring. They have a lot of balance on their team anyway, and their bigs, Fagan, Johnson, Kitts. Actually, Chloe hadn't scored tonight, but Joyce Edwards has 8 points. Texas has got to negate that by Taylor Jones and Kyla Oldacre getting involved in the scoring.
Madison Booker out there along with Brianna Preston, Jordan Lee, Taylor Jones, and Shea Holly. For South Carolina, it's Mylacia Fulwiley, Raven Johnson, Joyce Edwards, Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. Inbounded for the Gamecocks and up the floor for South Carolina is Raven Johnson on the dribble. And she's guarded on the right side by Jordan Lee. At the top of the arc, looking into the paint. Sends a pass into the paint to Fulwiley along the baseline, guarded by Booker. Now, Madison's got 2 fouls, so she has to be cognizant of it. In entry pass, they're going to get a foul, I believe, on Preston. That's 2 quick fouls on Bree Preston. So it'll be the 13 foul against Texas.
There had to have been a switch somewhere along the way that Bree ended up on Chloe Kitts because that's who she fouled.
And inbounds pass underneath, and there's Kitts scoring off the glass, her first bucket. South Carolina back in front, 29-28. Gamecocks have not committed a foul so far here in the second quarter. We have 4 minutes remaining in the half. Into the front court is Preston. She's out there playing with 2 personals, just like Maddie Booker. Onto the right side, left-hand dribble. Jordan Lee in the paint. Pull-up jumper straight away, and Lee knocks it down.
Yeah, Jordan's got a lot of confidence right now. You love to see it. The freshman just taking it right at South Carolina, no fear.
Fulwiley, step back, 3, missed it, and the rebound to Preston for Texas. Longhorns back within a point, 30-29, trying to go back in front. Preston on the dribble into the front court, sends a pass into Taylor Jones off the glass, and Taylor scores her first bucket.
Well, you love the push by Bree Preston and Taylor Jones hustling down the floor. You like the easy basket by Texas.
Texas 32, South Carolina 29, 3:20 remaining in the half. At the top of the arc is Joyce Edwards. To the right side, Edwards driving around traffic. The runner's no good. Ball loose. Longhorns have it. Booker pulls it out. It was tipped to her by Jones. Long down the floor pass to Lee. Jordan holds it on the left side. Now to Booker. She'll fire up a 3. Off the rim, no good. And the rebound, Edwards for the Gamecocks. South Carolina wants to run. Booker's got to be careful, and she does let Bree Hall score her first basket.
Well, South Carolina always releases someone, and Texas wasn't thinking somebody get back with the first person that takes off for South Carolina at all.
32-31 Longhorns, 2:43 remaining in the half. Preston on the dribble at the top of the arc. Bounce pass. Goes to Madison Booker. Booker trying to drive in against Hall. Puts it up and got Hall to commit the foul, and that'll get Maddie to the free throw line. Bree Hall picks up her first. Booker will be on the line to shoot 2.
Well, Booker's being really smart here, Craig. You always teach perimeter players when there's a lot of pressure, you want to play low to high, and Booker's getting really low with the basketball and gathering, and it makes her so explosive to go off the drive for her jumper.
Chloe Kitts checks out for South Carolina, as does Mylasia Fulwiley. Tessa Johnson and Sanaya Fagan back on the floor for the Gamecocks. And here's Booker, her first trip to the line tonight. 83% from the line this year, 84% in SEC games, and the first one's good for Madison. She scored 6 first-quarter points. That's her first point here in the second quarter. Second one to come for Booker. Trying to push the Longhorn lead back to 3 with 2:33 remaining in the first half. Second free throw is short off the front iron, and the rebound to South Carolina cleared by Joyce Edwards. Into the front court, and collision right along the side, and they're going to get a Texas foul.
Booker?
Yep, as she went for the loose ball. That's going to be her third. And Madison Booker, it was a calculated risk there, but she was just trying to go after a loose ball. It was barely a bump, but Edwards hit the deck, and that's 3 fouls on Madison Booker. And that really puts a damper on things for Texas the rest of the half. They're going to obviously have to play without Booker for a time, and they're out without Booker, and Harmon getting a rest right now for the moment. He goes inside immediately, and scoring off the glass is Bree Hall. So Hall gets it. The game is tied at 33. 2:15 remaining in the half. Preston working the dribble into the front court. To the left side, draws a high screen and an offensive foul on a moving screen. That one, I think, I didn't see on who they called it, unless they called it on Preston. Or it could have been on Winnintonda. It is on Jock. And so that's her second. And here's where South Carolina can take advantage of your mistakes with a late run here in the half. South Carolina will inbound the basketball. Powell on the dribble. And she'll bring it into the front court for the Gamecocks. Off to Joyce Edwards. Now back up top, Tessa Johnson looking into the paint. Johnson being guarded by Jordan Lee. Still pounding out the dribble, rolls it to the left side. Inside of 2 minutes remaining in the half. Johnson still dribbling it, trying to drive into the paint around traffic and missed it underneath. Scramble for the rebound. South Carolina pulls it down. Edwards missed the shot. Taylor Jones clears the rebound for Texas. Into the front court. On the right side is Preston. Driving through traffic. Left-hand runner, left short. Rebound South Carolina. Here they come on the run out. Tessa Johnson down the floor. Jocko-Linga went and trying to block the shot. Raven Johnson got the rebound out for a 3, and it's good by Powell. The Longhorns were able to defend, but Powell was open. South Carolina's up 3, 36-33. 1:12 remaining in the half. Preston to the left side. Goes up top to Taylor Jones. Now to Jocko-Linga Winnintonda. Holds up. 1 minute to go in the half. 10 on the shot clock. Jock driving in the paint. Lost her balance. Fell down. With ball went off her thigh. Out of bounds. It'll go back to South Carolina. This is where the Longhorns have to really be careful, not let South Carolina have a big rush and all of a sudden open up a substantial lead here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of fouls that, you know, and just you got to go stronger than that to the hole, Craig. You can't be soft when you're taking it to the rim against this team. They are going to bump you, and they're not going to call it. You've just got to be a lot tougher.
Rory Harmon back on for Texas. Brianna Preston checks out. South Carolina with the ball. 48 seconds remaining in the first half. Gamecocks up 3 at 36-33. To the left side with it, Tessa Johnson being guarded by Jordan Lee. Trying to drive past her to the left side and then stops into the corner. Entry pass, Raven Johnson working it. Sanaya Fagan going around Taylor Jones and scoops off the glass for 2.
Yeah, tough play by Sanaya Fagan. You know, Taylor was there but could not elevate to try to contest the shot.
This is South Carolina's largest lead, up 5, and Vic Schaefer wants his team to hold for the final shot of the half. Harmon on the dribble. 15 seconds remaining in the half. Rory being guarded by Raven Johnson, who backs off her now. 10 seconds remaining in the half. Now it goes to the left side. Harmon on the baseline. Jumper off the rim, no good. Scramble for it. Up with it. Winnintonda's fouled with 1.8 to go in the half. And that'll get Jock to the line to shoot 2 free throws. The foul is going to be on Joyce Edwards. Picks up her first.
Well, great hustle and effort by Jock. And, yeah, she did get fouled. It was really smart of her to go up really quickly, but just a second a little over a second left in this first half.
Winning time to the season, 77% from the free throw line, 81% in conference play. Shooting 2, and the first one's good for Jakalinga. She's got one more. Here's the second one for winning time, trying to pull the Longhorns back to within 3 by intermission. Second free throw was good. She made them both. And South Carolina makes substitutions. They got 1.8 to go in the half. The one thing you don't want to give up is a long-range half-court or more shot. They hit one of those in the Sweet 16. Fulwiley did. Here's the baseball home run pass down the floor, intercepted by Shea Holly, and that'll do it for the first half. Entertaining first half. South Carolina did have the upper hand in the second quarter, outscoring Texas 20-16, but it was no second quarter collapse for the Longhorns like there was in the 2 games played in the Palmetto State. So at halftime, it's a 3-point ball game. Into the first half, from here in Tampa, at the NCAA Women's Final Four, the score, South Carolina 38, Texas 35. We'll take a look at the first half numbers and a whole lot more coming your way when Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
It may be getting chilly outside, but it's always 72 degrees inside Interspace Caverns. It's a great place to take the kids while they're on school break or friends and family while they're visiting. Why not check out this super exciting saber-tooth zip ride or pan for gemstones? Interspace Caverns is located right off I-35 in Georgetown at exit 259, and they also feature newly remodeled gift shop and bathrooms. Check them out online, innerspacecavern.com for more details. That's innerspacecavern.com.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, don't mess with Texas, means we gotta step up, walk the walk, do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all the roads we travel, and all of our traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text BOLD to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text BOLD to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text BOLD to 200-300. That's BOLD to 200-300. BOLD to 200-300.
KVET FM Austin, 98.1 KVET, Austin's all-time country favorites. Available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Defending national champion South Carolina leading Texas 38-35. Look at the first half numbers. Longhorns shot 50%. They were 13 of 26. Hit 1 of 5 from three-point range. Gamecocks shot 52%. And they hit 3 out of 4 beyond the arc, including the one there right before the end of the half from Tahina Paopao, who hit 2 of those three-pointers for the Gamecocks. Longhorns hit 8 of 10 from the foul line. South Carolina was 7 of 8. Turnovers even at 10, but South Carolina slight edge in the points off the giveaways, 10-6. And the rebounding edge for the Gamecocks, 15-3. The points in the paint favor South Carolina, 22-16. And Kathy Arston, you said one of the things to watch would be fast break points, 11-0 favor of South Carolina.
Yeah, they released someone right down the middle of the court, and Texas has got to be aware of that. But you know what? You got to keep Booker on the floor in this second half. It's just going to make your offense that much easier. They were able to just swarm Taylor Jones and Kyla Oldacre, therefore no point production out of that position. So you got to make sure in the second half, Texas, the South Carolina bigs got to break in that first half. Didn't have to do a whole lot defensively. Texas has got to go right at them at the second half.
There were 2 ties and 7 lead changes in the first half. Each team with 4 steals in the first half. Individually for the Gamecocks, and no one in double figure scoring, but Tahina Powell and Joyce Edwards with 8 points apiece. Mylacia Full-Wiley with 7, 6 from Sanaya Fagan. And then after that, 4 points from Bree Hall, 2 from Chloe Kitts, 2 from Tessa Johnson, and 1 point from Mariam Dada. Longhorns led by Jordan Lee's 10 points. She scored 9 of the 10 in the second quarter. And after that, 7 points from Madison Booker, but Booker in saddle with foul difficulty, picked up 2 in the first quarter and then 1 before the half was done. So she's at 3 personal fouls right now. But she had 7 points before all the fouls were picked up. Jacqueline Wenentana, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 points, 4 boards from Taylor Jones, 4 points from Rory Harmon, who just added 2 rebounds and 3 assists, and then 2 points each from Kyla Oldacre and Brianna Preston. So at the half, the Longhorns trail it 38-35. We'll update other Longhorn activities coming up when Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert. Welcome to Covert Chevrolet in beautiful Bastrop, Texas, where small town values drive big time savings. At Covert Bastrop, we understand what matters to you most. A good deal, great service, and dealing with people you trust. What matters to you matters to us. Rooted in family values since 1909, the Coverts have been serving Central Texas for 6 generations. We want to be your car dealer. Let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop. Together, let's drive. CovertBastrop.com.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-420-2255. That's 800-420-2255.
I'm ready. Let me just grab my bag. Sweatpants, huh? Didn't know we were keeping it casual this month. Yeah, I feel bloated every now and then.
You have to try new Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies. They have prebiotics to nourish good bacteria, probiotics to help relieve occasional bloating, and postbiotics for immune support.
All that in one gummy?
Yep. So no sweatpants next time?
Not anymore.
Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies for gut health support. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, Austin, it's Angie Ward with big news. 2024 savings are in, and customers in Texas who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right. Customers saved an average of $2,300 a year by switching to Fred Loya Insurance. So make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya now. 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040 or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
Fly to Philly, take off to Tampa, depart for Denver. Following your team on the road is more rewarding with the American Airlines Advantage program. Your flights and everyday spend not only earn you miles towards your next trip, but also loyalty points toward Advantage status. All the more reason to purchase both a home and away jersey. With status comes great benefits like priority boarding, free checked bags, and complimentary upgrades. Not a member? Enroll for free today at AA.com. American Airlines, you are why we fly. Terms and conditions apply.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Austin, Texas.
When divorce puts your life's work on the line, Cordell & Cordell is ready to help you protect it. As a business owner, you've dedicated years building a legacy now at risk due to divorce. Let our experienced family law attorneys fight for you and that legacy. Cordell & Cordell is one of the nation's largest family law firms, Call to schedule your consultation today.
Offices in Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Austin area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert. Welcome to Covert Chevrolet in beautiful Bastrop, Texas, where small town values drive big time savings. At Covert Bastrop, we understand what matters to you most. A good deal, great service, and dealing with people you trust. What matters to you matters to us. Rooted in family values since 1909, the Coverts have been serving Central Texas for 6 generations. We want to be your car dealer. Let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop. Together, let's drive. CovertBastrop.com.
In Tampa, Florida, with the Texas Longhorns trailing the South Carolina Gamecocks here in the NCAA Women's Final Four, 38-35. Longhorns had an 8-point lead in the first quarter, and then the Gamecocks came storming back. They led by as many as 5. Right before the half expired, they were up 38-33. And as a result of that, the Longhorns were able to trim 2 points off of that and pulled to within 3 by intermission at 38-35. Updating you on University of Texas athletics and things going on right now. First of all, there was an adjustment on the schedule for Longhorn softball because of stormy conditions there in Columbia, Missouri. Of course, they had that problem with baseball last week where they had to play a doubleheader on Saturday and wrapped it up there. But they moved up Friday's start time 8 hours to try to beat the weather forecast and play this morning. And then they decided not to do that because of rain throughout the Columbia area today, Columbia, Missouri. So the two programs agreed to move their game that was scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon to a Saturday doubleheader. And it'll mark the Longhorns' third conference road doubleheader this season after having to adjust some games at then number 3 Florida and at number 18 Mississippi State last week. Kathy, softball's been pretty proficient in those doubleheaders. You hate to do it, though. It does take a toll on you a little bit, but they're going to have to play 2 games tomorrow at 1 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, and then 1 game on Sunday at noon.
If I can remember correctly, it's been every road series so far in the SEC that they've had to go to that format just because of the weather. But you know, it is what it is. Outdoor sport. You just never know what the weather's going to bring. But you know, you get through this weekend, a big series next weekend at home against Tennessee, who just took 2 out of 3 against Oklahoma. So it's just some great softball being played by Mike White's crew, and you just love. You know, that team has been so close and knocking on the door the last couple of years for the national championship, and I know they'll be right there again here in late May.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Longhorns also getting some good tennis being played. The 5th-ranked men's tennis team has clinched at least a share of the SEC regular season title with a 4-1 win over Oklahoma last night in Norman. So that was a good result coming in from Texas men's tennis. And also, we should point out Longhorns baseball is underway right now, and they're playing the number 2 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, and they were scoreless going to the bottom of the 2nd inning at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. We'll keep you updated on that and other things going on here at the half at South Carolina 38 and Texas 35. Second half of tonight's game from Tampa coming up when Texas women's basketball from the NCAA Women's Final Four continues in a moment.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, don't mess with Texas, means we gotta step up, walk the walk, do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all the roads we travel, and all of our traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
When divorce places your home, finances, or kids in jeopardy, Cordell & Cordell is here to fight to protect your interests. Cordell & Cordell is committed to advocating for your rights in divorce and family law matters, providing the legal experience to fight for success. Call today for a consultation and details on our military service member pricing.
Offices in Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Austin area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, principal partner. CordellCordell.com.
Shop simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. So, Riata Ford in Manor has made it simple. Pick yours at RiataFord.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson's Riata Ford in Manor has made buying a new Ford simple.
Hey, Austin, it's Angie Ward with big news. 2024 savings are in, and customers in Texas who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right. Customers saved an average of $2,300 a year by switching to Fred Loya Insurance. So make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya now. 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040 or visit FredLoya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
We get ready to start the second half. Before we do, there were a couple other things to update you on. First of all, Longhorn baseball and Georgia scoreless in the top of the third at UFC Dish-Falco. Kathy, Texas women's tennis swept Alabama today, 4-0 at the Weller Indoor Tennis Center. So they moved to 6-6 in SEC play with a win. And, oh, by the way, they just happen to have the number one ranked rowing team in the country, the defending national champions. And Dave O'Neill's got another great crew again going at it.
Yeah, opened last weekend at the San Diego Crew Classic and won 3 out of 4 races, and will host University of Michigan in a duel next Saturday down on Lady Bird Lake. So just a great sport, and hopefully be a great morning of racing for Texas fans to come out and support rowing. A good day as well. Texas beach volleyball went 3-0. They're down at a tournament here. Actually, just Tallahassee. That's north of us?
Just north to the northwest of us.
Northwest of us. Won 3 matches today. Actually started out this morning with a win over South Carolina's beach volleyball team.
Wow. All right. Original starting fives on the floor on both sides, including Madison Booker out there with 3 fouls. So it's Rory Harmon, Shea Holly, Madison Booker, Jacqueline Owen-Ntanda, and Taylor Jones for Texas. For South Carolina, Tahina Paopao, Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. It'll be South Carolina basketball as the Gamecocks will move from a right to left here in half number 2, and it's a 38-35 lead for South Carolina in this women's Final Four national semifinal. Inbounded, Kitts holds it up top. Longhorns started to say man-to-man, but they're kind of giving a zone look at it a little bit for Texas. Of course, we're in a little bit different elevation in our position. Inside, Chloe Kitts back up front at a shot block, down to 7 on the shot clock. Over the left side, three-pointer up. That's good. And that one was knocked down by Bree Hall. Boy, if they get their three-point game going, they are really tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. You can't be that far away from a three-point shooter, especially if the ball was never put on the floor.
6-point South Carolina lead, largest for the Gamecocks. Interior pass for Taylor Jones, knocked out of bounds by the quick hands of Tahina Paopao.
You know, if you're Texas, Craig, you can't go many possessions without getting some points or a foul and getting to the free throw line. I mean, you got 19 minutes left in this basketball game. Every possession is just crucial if you want to play for a national championship.
Inbounded to Jacqueline Owen-Ntanda, and there's a foul on the floor against South Carolina. The foul was on Sanaya Fagan. Her first foul of this third quarter against the Gamecocks. Longhorns inbound again. It's inbounded up top to Jacqueline Owen-Ntanda. Holds it high on the right wing. To the right side, Booker open. 18-footer off the back iron. No good in the rebound of South Carolina. It's cleared by Bree Hall. Gamecocks with the ball up 6. 1 minute gone by second half. It's 41-35. Pass goes to Sanaya Fagan. Holding up against Taylor Jones. Swings it left side to Bree Hall. Hall working against Booker, out there playing with 3 personal fouls. Hall to the left side, picks up her dribble. Now to Chloe Kitts, steps around Wentantana with a jumper, and it's good.
Yeah, just a little bit of an overhelp right there, and they were able to get the ball back to Chloe Kitts.
8-point Gamecock lead, their largest of this second half. And their largest of the game, 43-35. Here's Booker trying to race through traffic. Pull-up jumper from the baseline is good for Madison.
Yeah, great answer by Booker. Got to get her going offensively. And this is a total defensive timeout. Texas has not played good defense to start this third quarter at all.
You're right. Vic Schaefer calls the timeout here. We'll take it as well. 8 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The score is South Carolina 43, Texas 37 from the NCAA Women's Final Four. Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
Earl Campbell here for my good friends at Austin Shoe Hospital. Austin Shoe Hospital has been repairing my favorite boots and shoes for over 30 years. They are the best Western boot repair company in Texas and can repair any boot brand or style. Visit the master cobblers at Austin Shoe Hospital and they will bring all your shoes, boots, and bags back to life. If you can wear it, they can repair it. Oh, yes, and hook 'em horns.
Visit AustinShoeHospital.com.
Hi, I'm Jenny Covert. Welcome to Covert Chevrolet in beautiful Bastrop, Texas, where small town values drive big time savings. At Covert Bastrop, we understand what matters to you most. A good deal, great service, and dealing with people you trust. What matters to you matters to us. Rooted in family values since 1909, the Coverts have been serving Central Texas for 6 generations. We want to be your car dealer. Let us prove it. Covert Chevrolet, Highway 71 in Bastrop. Together, let's drive. CovertBastrop.com.
Vic Schaefer using a timeout, and it's not a timeout that we've seen him use much at all this season. A timeout after a made bucket. But he did it, as you pointed out, Kathy, this is about defense because South Carolina started off the second half by hitting a couple of shots, a 3, and then able to get inside and get a bucket from Chloe Kitts. And the Longhorns have needed a response. Now they got a basket from Madison Booker, but they're down 6 right now. It was 8 a moment ago.
Yeah, again, Texas, you just can't allow South Carolina. It was just way too easy to start this third quarter. And if you're Texas, you must start putting more ball pressure, try to speed up the tempo a little bit. But Texas has got to get more aggressive really, really quickly. I'm surprised it seemed like we were a little flat coming out of here to start the second half, Craig.
Yeah, Coach Schaefer still with the team gathered around him. And it's the first timeout that he has called. First timeout called by either side. Dawn Staley has all 4 of her stoppages available to her. Of course, the winner of this game moves on to face the winner of tonight's nightcap. UCLA and UConn will follow half an hour after this one. How do you see that matchup?
Wow, I'm going to tell you what, I've just been really impressed with what UCLA has done. Betts is just such a special player, great size and so skilled. But, just announced that Paige Beckers was the Wade Trophy winner. And, she's been a player that's dealt with injuries her entire career. I think Connecticut has a big 3 that are just really, really, they're big freshmen. Sarah Strong, just really tough. AZ Fudd just can really score the basketball. And, I think that's a real toss-up. I know it's going to be a challenge for UConn to handle Betts like everybody else this year. UCLA is just really talented. I think it's going to be a great matchup, Craig. I'm going to go. You want me to pick somebody?
Yeah, pick somebody.
I think UCLA is going to win.
Wow, okay.
I'm going to go with UCLA.
All right, South Carolina with a basketball. Leading 43-37 out of the timeout. Gamecocks put it in motion. High on the right wing, Sanaya Fagan. Looking inside is Fagan. Down to 8 to shoot. Now out to Hall. Fadeaway jumper good from the right elbow.
Yeah, it's just too easy right now for South Carolina. Texas has got to provide some resistance defensively. 45-37. Booker on the dribble. She runs the point for the moment. To the right side with it.
trying to drive to the baseline and had the ball knocked out of her hands and lost it out of bounds. She thought she was fouled. Vic Schaefer thought she was fouled. Tiffany Bird apparently did not see that, the official, so it'll go back to South Carolina. So it'll be Gamecock basketball up by 8. And Tahina Paopao operates the dribble out, guarded by Harmon, top of the arc. And into the right corner to Sanaya Fagan. Drives in, flips a pass across the floor, and it's picked off by Shea Holly. So Longhorns get it back into the front court. Here's Booker. Drives to the left side, trying to go around traffic. Fadeaway jumper from the right side. It rattles home. Booker with 11. Texas back within 6. 3 minutes gone by third quarter. It's 45-39 Gamecocks. South Carolina with it on the left side. Chloe Kitts trying to get around Jacqueline Wentantana. There's a pass that goes into the paint and back out. Right elbow jumper off the rim. No good by Fagan. An offensive rebound by Kitts, and she got it to go home.
Yeah, it just cannot happen. Texas has got to just be so much tougher around the rim. I agree with Vic. You got to get with Kyla in there to get some physicality around the rim.
He just sent Kyla Oldacre to the scorer's table. 47-39 Gamecocks. 6.5 go third quarter. Coming off a screen bounce pass. Goes in underneath. Taylor Jones in traffic. Can't get it to go underneath. And the rebound, Raven Johnson for the Gamecocks. Here comes South Carolina. Johnson, right to left, drives down the lane. Runner left short. Chloe Kitts, an offensive rebound and a reach-in foul against Texas. And the foul's going to be on Jacqueline Wentantana. That's her third. And South Carolina will inbound on the baseline. Taylor Jones checks out. Back on for Texas, Kyla Oldacre. Longhorns trail it by 8. 6:16 to go third quarter. Gamecocks inbound. High on the right wing, Sanaya Fagan looking into the paint against Oldacre. Still holding the basketball. Retreating with a dribble out. Out to the left side of Bree Hall. Booker the matchup there. Shoots over Booker. A long three. Too strong off the back iron. Rory Harmon clears the rebound for Texas. Into the front court. Harmon on the dribble. Center of the floor. To the left side. And tries to roll around traffic. Drops it to Shea Holly. Holly trying to go around Raven Johnson. Flips a pass. Out on the left wing to Wentantana. Jock holds up with it. Cross-court pass. Goes to Harmon again. 10 on the shot clock. To Holly. Entry pass. In to Oldacre. Lost her balance, but she's fouled. Had that dribble, and South Carolina immediately collapsed with the defense, and somebody fouled her. I think Fagan from behind. And baseline.
Well, got a break right there. The double team's coming hard. They're just challenging, you know, if you look at the stats, Island Taylor don't have very fitting assists, so the defense pretty much knows they're not going to kick it back out very often, so that's why they go with double.
Fouls on Chloe Kitts. Second ball, inbound basketball. Harmon squeeze it off. The inbound into Jordan Lee. Puts up the jumper, missed it. Rebound knocked out of bounds, and they say it's off Texas. So we'll go back to South Carolina. Gamecocks with it. Up 8. 5.5 to go third quarter. Tahina Paopao on the dribble to the right side. Working against Rory Harmon. Flips a pass. Up top. Working now to Bree Hall. To the left side. Mylasia Fulwiley, who just checked in. Driving baseline against Jordan Lee. Kind of warding her off. Drives in the lane. Flips one up. Left it short. Rebound. Harmon has it. She scoots up the right side for Texas. Here's Rory into the front court. Here's a third opportunity to get the deficit under 8. Harmon flips a pass to Oldacre. Back to Rory. Again to Oldacre. And she's fouled from behind. That foul, as Kylan went for the pass, she was grabbed from behind. The foul was on Fagan. So Sanaya Fagan picks up her third foul.
Well, what Kyla did right there was really smart, Craig. She kicked it. She did kick it right back out to Rory and repositioned and actually got a little bit closer to the rim on the when she received the ball again. Therefore, you know, South Carolina had to foul her. She was going to score.
Harmon to inbound for Texas. Works it to Oldacre. Now back to Rory. Pulls the ball back out. Here's Harmon driving. Pulls up from the foul line. Jumper good for Harmon. They needed that. Her first bucket since the first quarter. Texas back within 6. 47-41. South Carolina with the basketball. And on the dribble. Across the timeline for the Gamecocks. Still working that dribble is Joyce Edwards. Works against Jakalinga Wenatana at the top of the arc. Rolls the dribble left side, down the lane. Got around traffic and scored. Too easy.
Yeah, just right down the middle of just right the gut of your defense, Craig. Again, just the straight line drive to the rim just cannot happen at all.
Here's Harmon, a fadeaway from the baseline. Can't answer in the rebound. Edwards for the Gamecocks. Lead pass to Tahina Paopao, top of the arc. Paopao weaving through traffic. Cross-court pass goes back to Edwards. She'll pull the ball back out front now as South Carolina resets. 4:08 to go third quarter. 8-point lead for the Gamecocks, 49-41. Tahina Paopao, guarded by Rory Harmon. She went under the screen to pick her up and does. Paopao, left-hand dribble. Goes into the paint, spins, turns, shoots, left it short, but was fouled. The foul is going to be on Harmon, and Rory will pick up her second, and there'll be 2 free throws coming after the official timeout. 3 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the third quarter. This match is the largest deficit of the night for Texas. South Carolina will try to add to it. It's the Gamecocks 49 and the Longhorns 41. From the NCAA Women's Final Four, Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, don't mess with Texas, means we gotta step up, walk the walk, do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all the roads we travel, and all of our traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Steel GMC in Round Rock. Hi, I'm Steve David, General Manager. Great deals are all we do here at Steel GMC. Our deal is upfront, honest, and a real deal. Not some overhyped web price that when you get there, vanishes like a 30-point lead. Come see us and get a real deal at Steel. Exit 256 in Round Rock or see for yourself at SteelGMCRoundRock.com.
Shop us first or shop us last. Get a real deal from Steel.
We are professional grade.
Throughout the third quarter here in Tampa, the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Texas Longhorns have had the score just pretty much rattle back between 6 points and 8 points. South Carolina, which led by 3 at the half, immediately pushed the margin to 8, and since then it's been 8-6 to 8-6 to 8-6, and now it's at 8, and South Carolina will have an opportunity coming out of the timeout to add to the lead. And what we've seen, Kathy, in this third quarter is definitely South Carolina more aggressive to the basket on the offensive end.
Yeah, Texas just with the 6 points in this quarter. I mean, you just can't have that type of a lull in your scoring. Again, I think the game is way too slow for Texas. It's just kind of turned into a half-court game, which right now is totally favoring South Carolina just because of their strength around the rim.
So now the Longhorns have gotten, I think, past the sticker shock with Madison Booker having picked up that third foul before the first half was done, and she's been able to play with 3 fouls throughout this third quarter and has been effective. She scored a couple of baskets and has been able to stay away, but they've got to get some help inside, whether it's Kyla Oldacre or Taylor Jones, somebody to stop some of those straight line drives and low post play that South Carolina has exhibited.
Yeah, as they start the drive right there, they just kind of rotate and swing the big player up a little bit to pull the defender out. You just, at this point, you've got to stay at home right there and, you know, and try to now for South Carolina offensively.
So out of the timeout, Tahina Paopao is going to go to the free throw line for the Gamecocks. Paopao this season, 75% from the foul line. 27 out of 36 this season. Trying to add to the Gamecocks lead, and she does. The first one's good for Paopao. She'll have one more. Here's the second one for the senior from Oceanside, California. It's no good, and the rebound, Jakalinga Wenatana clears it for Texas. Longhorns down 9, but a steal. Paopao takes it away and drives it in. Boy, that is just diabolical when that happens.
Yeah, that's a tough turnover for Texas right there. Just to turn the ball over off of a free throw attempt.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And Powell just anticipated the pass, and there's another one picked off. And the Longhorns have got to be careful not to let this thing get away here. Down 11 at 52-41 to the right side. Driving, and they're going to get a foul on the floor, I think, on Wenentanda. Yep. Jock is going to pick up her fourth foul. Brianna Preston will check back in for Texas. It's an 11-point South Carolina lead, 52-41. Back-to-back turnovers, just very painful because the Longhorns off the missed free throw would still have not been down double digits till after that steal, and then they give it up again. And here's South Carolina driving, spinning, shooting. Edwards missed it underneath, scramble for the rebound, and it's pulled down by Oldacre. Outlet to Harmon. Longhorns trying to get the deficit back under double digits. Here's Madison Booker at the top of the arc, rolls the dribble to the right side, off to Harmon, right corner, quick entry pass into Brianna Preston. Back to Harmon again, who pulls the ball back out front. Under 3 minutes remaining, third quarter. Harmon on the dribble to the right wing, started right back to the left side. Bounce pass goes to Booker, and there's a foul against South Carolina. It's on Fulwiley. Mylacia Fulwiley picks up her first against the Gamecocks. That's their fourth foul of this third quarter. Longhorns will inbound the basketball. And Brianna Preston, the inbound for Texas. So Preston, the inbound. I'm not sure what the officials are having to sort out here, but trying to sort out something. Now they're ready to go. So Texas inbounds. That is the 14th foul against the Gamecocks here in this third quarter. So it'll be inbounded by Bree Preston. Looking. Still looking. Got to get it in. And lobs it out front to Harmon. Rory has it. Now swings it to the right side. Harmon trying to weave through traffic across the floor to Preston. Now into the corner, Booker will rise up from there. 18-footer was an air ball. Just flat out missed everything. And the rebound, South Carolina. Longhorns out of rhythm, out of sync right now. And the Gamecocks threatening to take complete command of this. They're up 11 with 2.5 to go third quarter. At the top of the arc, on the dribble to the right side. Pass goes inside, batted away by Jordan Lee. Nice defensive play. Off to Booker. Madison into the front court for Texas. Longhorns need a bucket to try to get this inside of double digits. Booker on the left side with it. Maddie trying to weave through traffic in the corner. Rory Harmon steps inside the arc, but threw up an air ball trying to hit an 18-footer. And the rebound, South Carolina in transition. Joyce Edwards drives in and scores.
Yeah, just shooting layups, Craig. Again, Texas got to step up and knock down a shot pretty quick, like you just said, to just stop the bleeding right here.
Yeah, Vic Schaefer calls another timeout. This is a 7-0 run for the Gamecocks of the last 2 minutes and 41 seconds. This is one of those patented South Carolina runs. We saw this in the second quarter in the game in Columbia and the game in Greenville, but we're seeing it in the third quarter here. Turnovers, missed shots, and then just not enough on the defensive end.
Yeah, and just giving up layups. I mean, the shots have just been so easy for South Carolina since about midway in the second quarter.
Now Texas at 13. A huge mountain to climb now with 1:53 remaining. Longhorns have missed their last 4 shots. They've only hit one of their last 7, and they've not scored a point in the last 3 minutes. So Texas trailing by 13. As Vic Schaefer used another timeout. I mentioned it was rare to see him call a timeout in the game. It's really rare to see him have to use 2. The times that I can remember where he's had to use them other than in real late game final second situations or in the games in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you talked about it, and just so did Coach Schaefer. If you let this team, and they're just so good at making little 6, 8, 10-point runs that just put the game away before, in the blink of an eye. And to combat that, you have got to continue to score. I mean, 41 points. I think Texas scored 6 points so far in this third quarter.
Yeah.
It's just got to get better. We've got to be aggressive, get fouled, get to the line, figure something out how to get some points.
This is a 16-6 third quarter for the Gamecocks. There's some blood on the elbow of Joyce Edwards, and it got on the jersey of Jordan Lee. So they had to get the blood off the jersey from Jordan, and now they're trying to patch up the blood that's right near the right elbow of Joyce Edwards. So they're just flat out taping up that right elbow for Edwards. Vic Schaefer again using the opportunity to hammer home a couple of more points for his team. But now with a minute 53 remaining in the third quarter, Texas trails by 13. Madison Booker to inbound to Rory Harmon. At the top of the arc, Harmon swings it past Lee. She'll fire up a three-pointer. That's well short. And the rebound to South Carolina. The Longhorns have gone cold here in this third quarter. They've missed their last 5 shots and only hit one of their last 8 from the field. Full Wiley, guarded by Harmon, drops a pass. Tessa Johnson, fadeaway jumper, good. Johnson, her first field goal, she has 4, and it's a 15-point South Carolina lead. A 9-0 run for the Gamecocks. 1:20 to go third quarter. To the right side with it, Jordan Lee swings it across the floor to Rory Harmon. Harmon going around full Wiley, had the ball knocked out of her hand. She got it back to the right side. Preston drives in with a floater, and it rattled out. A lid on the basket now for Texas. Here comes South Carolina. Full Wiley, a scoop, missed it underneath. Offensive rebound back out front. Tessa Johnson has it in the paint. Pull-up jumper. It's good.
You know, you're at a point right now where it seems like there's 10 of them and 5 of us, Craig, because everybody on their team is scoring so easily right now.
And they're finding loose balls and getting rebounds. The Longhorns just getting beat to the 50-50 balls as well. Bounce pass went out of bounds off South Carolina. But with 37 seconds in the third quarter, this is the run we talked about in the second quarter in the games in Columbia and Greenville. It's an 11-0 run, and it's a 13-2 run over the last 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Longhorns had pulled within 6 at 47-41. Inbound now, Jordan Lee. Three-pointer, there it is, and that stops the run, at least for the moment. Lee hits her second three-pointer of the ball game, but Texas is down 14, and South Carolina will work for the final shot of the quarter. Tessa Johnson pounding out the dribble. 20 seconds remaining third quarter. Johnson in the front court to the right side with it. Down to 10 seconds remaining third quarter. Johnson against Jordan Lee on the right wing. Looks over to head coach Dawn Staley for the instruction. 5 seconds to the left side. Johnson trying to drive. Step back jumper. Right elbow. Left it short. No good. And that'll do it for the third quarter. So South Carolina with that 11-0 run taking command of this basketball game. And there's only 1 quarter left in the Longhorn season unless they can climb the mountain and come back into the third quarter. The 2025 NCAA Women's Final Four here in the national semifinal. It's South Carolina 58, Texas 44. Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
WinStar World Casino and Resort is your place to feel like a star. Catch some of the biggest names at the brand new Lucas Oil Live. Dine in style with countless restaurants and bars. Or pamper yourself in the new multi-story WinStar Spa. WinStar is the place to get the star treatment you deserve.
It may be getting chilly outside, but it's always 72 degrees inside Interspace Caverns. It's a great place to take the kids while they're on school break or friends and family while they're visiting. Why not check out this super exciting saber-tooth zip ride or pan for gemstones? Interspace Caverns is located right off I-35 in Georgetown at exit 259, and they also feature newly remodeled gift shop and bathrooms. Check them out online, interspacecavern.com for more details. That's interspacecavern.com.
Lead on Georgia. That's in the bottom of the fourth at UFC Disch-Falk Field. The numbers 2 and 5 teams in the country. And Texas has a 1-0 lead as they bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here, the Longhorns need a grand slam or two. The Texas women are down 14 through 3 quarters, 58-44 to South Carolina. Craig Way, Kathy Harston with you from UFC Well, we're not at UFC Dish Ball Field. We could use a grand slam from UFC Dish Ball Field. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, and really through three quarters, South Carolina in control. But it was that one run that we talked about. South Carolina's a patented run seemingly every ball game, and it was the third quarter tonight.
Well, you would just like to see some real action around the rim, and just really there hadn't been a whole lot since that first 12, 14 points that Texas scored. A whole lot of pressure. You constantly have to inflict your will pressure on the South Carolina defense. There just hasn't been a whole lot of challenging since that first quarter by Texas defensively against South Carolina. I mean, nobody's in foul trouble. Nobody's fouling. Texas isn't getting to the line, and that's what I talked about, how important it is that everything you do at them, you got to go right at their heart, right through their chest to the rim. And you got to think dunk every time you're going there. That's how strong you have to be against this team.
Through three quarters, the Longhorns now just shooting 43%. In that third quarter, Texas wound up hitting 10 shots in that third quarter. And, they had wound up hitting just 4 shots in the third quarter. They were 4 for 14 in the third quarter. South Carolina, conversely, in the third quarter, hit 9 out of 17 shots. And so they're shooting 52% from the field. Texas just 43%. Longhorns 2 of 7 beyond the arc. Gamecocks 4 of 6 from three-point range. Both teams 8 of 10 from the foul line. 12 turnovers for the Gamecocks, 11 for Texas. A 12-8 edge in the points off the turnovers. But Kathy, where South Carolina really took command of it in the third quarter on the glass. The rebounding edge is 29 to 18. It was 15-13 at the half. So they out-rebounded Texas in the third quarter 14 to 5. And a lot of it happening during that 11-0 run.
Well, you're so right, Craig. It's just, the paint points are just, there's a 20-point advantage right now, or 18-point advantage for South Carolina on points on the paint. And they get theirs two ways, just driving it right up your nostril and with their post play. And Texas has just not had an answer for that. You're down 14. You need to get it under 10 here as quickly as possible and try to just get to a point where you think game on, everybody's jumping around. Texas fans, you hit a 3, and then maybe it's 5 or 6 points.
Longhorns only able to score 9 points in the third quarter. Third time that's happened against South Carolina this year. The other 2 times were the games in the state of South Carolina. Longhorns inbound. Entry pass goes into Kyla Oldacre, and traffic puts it up. Had her shot blocked, but she was fouled. No, they call a tie-up. A tie-up. And on the arrow to go to South Carolina. So South Carolina will get the ball back. As the ball wedged, they had a basketball wedgie. I didn't even see it from the angle where we are on the corner here. It wedged in between the glass and the rim. So South Carolina will inbound the basketball. Into the front court, Chloe Kitts has it. To your point, Kathy, the Gamecocks outscored Texas in points in the paint in the third quarter, 14-2.
Yeah, that's just, you just can't let that happen.
Long three-pointer ball that went out of bounds there from Powell. The Longhorns will have the ball back. So if you're going to start something, got to start it now. Try to get this thing 10 like he said.
I love the immediate catch on the first offense possession, just getting into Kyla. Kyla needs to just get as low as possible and try to get some easy buckets.
On the right side, Booker across the floor. Works it and went in Tana. Driving in, floats one up and drew contact against Chloe Kitts, who grumbles about the call. Kitts picks up her third. And Jacqueline went in Tana will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Jock will go in there. And went in Tana hit 2 free throws in the second quarter. So she has 2 here, and the first one's good. One more for Jack. Second one for Wenentanda. Missed that. Too strong on the back iron. Oldacre, an offensive rebound, a dribble, and went out of bounds off Texas. Missed out on the opportunity there on the free throw, and then Oldacre had the rebound, but had it. It looked like it was going to be tied up, and it went out of bounds off Kyla. 58-45, South Carolina. Left side is Chloe Kitts. Across the board, pass goes back up top. Tonight, they've been holding the basketball. to Mylacia Fulwiley. Back to Fagan in the key circle. To the right side, driving baseline. Pow had her shot rejected. Wow, that's a late call. Okay. It was on Kyla Oldacre, her first. And it's not a shooting foul. It'll be South Carolina basketball. And inbounded out to Bree Hall. Hall started right back to the left side. Drops it off to Tahina Pow. Pow on the dribble, started left, back to the right now. 8 on the shot clock, sends a pass into the paint. Fagan, one dribble, got around traffic, missed it underneath, and the rebound for Texas, cleared by Rory Harmon. Into the front court, Harmon into the corner. Jordan Lee, a three-pointer, good. And that'll get Texas back to within 10 at 58-48.
Yeah, that's a huge shot right there and a huge make by Jordan Lee, Craig. It just gives you a little bit of momentum. You got to get a stop right here if you're Texas.
58-48, Pow trying to answer, and she does with a three, as she has done all season long.
Yeah, again, that was off of a make. Texas in transition defense, you must get matched up. You cannot leave their best three-point shooter wide open in the corner.
Harmon has it on the right side. It's 61-48 Gamecocks, 7:50 to go. Rory on the dribble. Almost knocked down, then a bounce pass goes. Oldacre turns with a jump hook, and it rattles off the rim, and the rebound tipped out of bounds by South Carolina. Longhorns will inbound. They got to, I started saying they got to reset the shot clock. It bounced off the rim twice, and they did to 20. Fulwiley checks out, and Raven Johnson back on the floor for the Gamecocks. Tessa Johnson returns as well as Tahina Pow checks out. 61-48 South Carolina, 7:41 to go. Harmon inbound for Texas. Looking. Lobs it up top to Jordan Lee. Lee swings it to Rory Harmon. Right side in the corner to Jacqueline Wenatana. Here's Jock driving in the paint. Stops. Spins. Turns. Looks. Had the ball knocked out of her hands. A tie-up. Longhorns will have it on the possession as she went up. And down with the ball. 7:29 to go. Longhorns have it on the arrow. Down by 13. Joyce Edwards back on the floor for the Gamecocks, replacing Sanaya Fagan. Longhorns inbound up top to Wenatana. Jock looking inside. Still holds it. Sends a pass, and that's going to be a holding foul. If it's on Kitts, that's her fourth. It's either on Kitts or on Bree Hall. Brenda Pantoja says, I think it's on Kitts. Yep.
Well, that was a great post up by Kyla. It's really tough. You know, they have a lot, 4 or 5 bigs that they can run in there, and they just said, hey, we're not going to let her get going. They're either just going to foul her, double team her, do whatever they can to get the ball out of her hands.
Yep. So, Longhorns now will inbound the basketball. Harmon to the right side. Quick jumper. Shea Holly off the rim. No good. Had a good look at it, but it would not fall. And South Carolina with a rebound. Up 13 at 61-48. 7:15 remaining in the ball game. And the Gamecocks have led by as many as 17. And the Gamecocks call a timeout here in this final quarter. So a timeout with 7:10 remaining in the ball game. It's South Carolina 61, Texas 48. From the NCAA Women's Final Four in Tampa, Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
Fly to Philly, take off to Tampa, depart for Denver. Following your team on the road is more rewarding with the American Airlines Advantage program. Your flights and everyday spend not only earn you miles towards your next trip, but also loyalty points toward Advantage status. All the more reason to purchase both a home and away jersey. With status comes great benefits like priority boarding, free check bags, and complimentary upgrades. Not a member? Enroll for free today at AA.com. American Airlines, you are why we fly. Terms and conditions apply.
Earl Campbell here for my good friends at Austin Shoe Hospital. Austin Shoe Hospital has been repairing my favorite boots and shoes for over 30 years. They are the best Western boot repair company in Texas and can repair any boot brand or style. Visit the master cobblers at Austin Shoe Hospital, and they will bring all your shoes, boots, and bags back to life. If you can wear it, they can repair it. Oh, yes, and hook 'em horns.
Visit Austin Shoe Hospital.
Dawn Staley called a timeout with 7:10 to go. Her team is up 13 on the Longhorns, 61-48. What do you think the message was for Coach Staley for her team in the timeout?
Well, I think she wants them to stop fouling. You know, Texas is trying to make it a concerted effort to get it into Kyla right now. And Chloe Kitts, I was watching replay, just wrapped her arms around her. I really look for South Carolina to just try to score, 6 or 8 more points just to really put this out of reach right here. Texas has got to be careful on the defensive end. I know it's tough to sometimes if you're having trouble scoring to continue to think about that. But this team right now, they can run off points like you've never seen a team, especially with full Wiley in the game, can just push it right past you.
So it's a 3-0 Texas lead in baseball as the Longhorns are up on the Georgia Bulldogs. And that is in the Texas still batting in the bottom of the 4th inning of that series opener at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. They will play tomorrow and Sunday, weather permitting. And so far the weather has permitted that one to go on here. But Texas right now, the Longhorns down 13 points at 61-48 and trying to turn this back around as the Longhorns bid to reach the championship round of the NCAA tournament for the first time in 39 years in serious jeopardy right now with the defending national champion Gamecocks leading by 13, and they have the basketball. Will inbound the ball. So it'll be inbounded by South Carolina. It's inbounded into the backcourt. And into the front court on the dribble. Pass goes to the right side. Driving in traffic. Fagan fouled. Going up. And she'll go to the free throw line. That's what you spoke of, Kathy, about not committing the foul. In that case, it was on Kyla Oldacre, her second.
Yeah, Craig. Sanaya Fagan and Joyce Edwards have just been really, really tough taking the ball right at Texas around the rim. All night long. Both of them have rebounded very, very well. And just has been really hard to match up with that.
First free throw for Edwards was no good. She'll have another. So one more for the talented freshman from Camden, South Carolina. Second one for Joyce Edwards. That one is good. She has 13 points along with 10 rebounds. A double-double for the freshman, Joyce Edwards. It's 62-48, a 14-point Gamecock advantage. Under 7 minutes to go. Rory Harmon on the dribble. Swings it up top. Now to Shea Holly. Sends it. Madison Booker. Fadeaway jumper in the lane. Off the rim. No good. Can't get it to go. And South Carolina, the rebound. It was Edwards who cleared it. Her 13th board of the night. Into the front court. Pass goes over to the right side. Edwards just holding the ball out. Now we'll flip it back behind her to Raven Johnson. Johnson against Harmon. Sends it back to Edwards on the left side with 6:25 to go. A dribble, and then it's back it goes again to Edwards. Drives to the left side. Dumps a pass underneath, and the bucket good there for Sanaya Fagan. Actually, Bree Hall. Hall cut to the basket. She got it. And it's 64-48. 16-point South Carolina lead with 6 minutes to go. Jacqueline Nguyentan on the dribble. Drives, stops, flips a pass back behind her to Rory Harmon. Harmon off to Shea Holly. Spins, turns, sends a pass in. And now Oldacre turns with a left-hander and banks it home. So Oldacre gets her first field goal. The Longhorns trail by 14 and only 5:43 remaining. It's 64-50 South Carolina. We heard Vic Schaefer in the pregame talk about offensive efficiency and how they were going to have to find it. And there's going to be a foul on Shea Holly as she bumped Tessa Johnson out of bounds. Foul on Shea is her first. But he said it in the pregame, Kathy. He said, look at our two losses. We scored 50 points and we scored 45. He said, that's like scoring one run in baseball. You can't win many games like that. Here we are with 5:32 to go, and there's 50 points on the board. South Carolina will inbound. So the Gamecocks to inbound. Down into the right corner, Joyce Edwards, guarded by Jacqueline Nguyentan. Looking into the paint, trying to drive on Jock. Flips a pass into the left corner now. And a jumper, Raven Johnson knocks it down, and it's all dropping now for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, they're shooting the ball well. They've shot the ball really well in this second half. They're up to 53% for the game, Craig. And 62% from the three-point line. So they've just shot the ball well all night long.
Back to a 16-point advantage. There's going to be a holding foul against South Carolina. That'll be their third foul of this final quarter. And that one could have been on Bree Hall. There were two Gamecocks. It's actually on Marianne Dada, who had checked back in. She played a lot in the first quarter, hadn't played since then, but just checked back in, and she picked up the foul. She came in after Chloe Kitts picked up her fourth foul. Longhorns inbound the ball. Quickly, Harmon from the baseline. Jumper good for Rory. She has 8. Texas down 14, under 5 minutes to go. Can't afford to swap buckets, however. It's 66-52. On the dribble. Bounce pass goes high on the left wing. Joyce Edwards across the floor. Three-pointer up. That's good. That one knocked down by Tessa Johnson. It's all going down. This match is South Carolina's largest lead, up 17 with 4.5 to go. 69-52. Harmon on the dribble with a bounce pass. Goes to the left side. Now back up top. Jordan Lee on it. Swings it to Rory Harmon. Harmon on the right wing. Outside, three-pointer up. Jordan Lee off the rim, no good. Rebound, Tessa Johnson. Once more, the Longhorns going cold from the floor. South Carolina, meanwhile, has hit its last 4 shots in matching its largest lead to go up by 17 with 4 minutes to go. It's 69-52 Gamecocks. On the left side, Raven Johnson, drive, sends a pass into the paint, spinning. Joyce Edwards missed the turnaround jumper, rebound Texas. Into the front court, Harmon on the dribble. Rory driving, left side, drops it off to Jordan Lee. Lee trying to weave around traffic, spins in the paint, turns, fadeaway jumper, missed it. Underneath, Taylor Jones got the rebound, had it knocked out of her hands. And South Carolina comes away with it. Into the front court. To the right side is Raven Johnson trying to drive in through traffic. Does, squares up, shoots, and it's off the rim. Jones with the rebound for Texas, but down to 3:18 remaining. Down the floor. Shea Holly in the left corner. Up top to Jacqueline Wenentana. Back out front to Rory Harmon. Harmon at the top of the arc, looking into the paint. Bounce pass, and Vic Schaefer has to call another timeout as the Longhorns seemed discombobulated on offense there, and he wanted to get them back on rhythm. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification live from Tampa, Florida. You're listening to Texas Women's Basketball.
FM Austin. We are 98.1 KVED. iHeart Country Station.
Craig Way and Kathy Harston with you from Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Longhorns in their first Final Four appearance in 22 years, but it looks like it may well end at the semifinal level, barring a miraculous comeback as Texas is down 17 with 3:07 to go. This was an outstanding first half. Well played. A 3-point South Carolina lead at the intermission, 38-35. But the third quarter was the telling point and the turning point of the game when the Gamecocks had an 11-0 run to race out to a big lead, and the Longhorns have been chasing since. Out of the timeout, Taylor Jones spins in the paint at her shot, rejected again. And South Carolina comes away with it. Into the front court, full Wiley. Drives, bounce pass in the corner, scooped up by one of the Gamecocks. It got knocked loose, but then it was picked up by Pow Pow. Tina Pow Pow guarded by Brianna Preston. On to the right side with it, 2:40 remaining in the ball game, and Preston fouls her. It's the fourth Texas foul of this final quarter, and on Bree, that will be her third. So 2:39 remaining. And South Carolina will inbound on the side. Pass sent to the baseline. Driving in, nice Euro step in there, but Joyce Edwards couldn't finish. It did get knocked out of bounds by the Longhorns.
Well, Craig, I thought such a huge key coming into this game was just going to be overall aggressiveness and being decisive and just, having a total offensive mindset by Texas and just, got away from them after that first quarter.
Outside full Wiley, long range three. No good off the back iron. Rebound, Shea Holly. Yeah, Texas got out to the 10-2 lead and then got cold right before the end of the quarter. And then even though it was a competitive second quarter, they lost the advantage they had. Here's Holly in the paint. Jumper blocked. But picked up by Taylor Jones and missed it right underneath. And South Carolina with a rebound here. They tick down to 2 minutes to go. Nothing going down for Texas. They missed their last 4 shots. They've gone 3 minutes without scoring. And Gamecock fans making a lot of noise. They feel that South Carolina's on the verge of going back to the championship round. Tessa Johnson with it. 1:50 remaining in the ball game. 8 to shoot. Johnson driving in, just went out of control, got the bucket, and gets rewarded for it. She was completely out of control. And did they wave it off? Yes. Well, that was the right call by Brenda Pantoja. She's out of control, and she just absolutely flattened Shea Holly. And just knocked her. That wasn't Shea, was it, that she hit? She hit one of the Longhorns.
Justice Carlton.
It was Justice Carlton who had just checked in. And here's Carlton driving in, missed it underneath, and the rebound South Carolina. So the Gamecocks have it. They're up 69 to 52. Yeah, she went right and tried to go around Justice and bounced off of her. But picked up the foul instead of the bucket. But South Carolina has it. 1:18 to go, and they're up 17. Top of the arc. Pass goes in the left corner, and it was a turnover to go back to Texas. Stepping on the sidelines to receive the inbounds pass.
You know, Craig, I feel like that the Booker foul trouble early on in this basketball game really, really hurt Texas offensively. You've got to have your All-American on the floor in a national semifinal. And even though Texas went into the half, only down 3, I think that's kind of where they lost a little bit of their continuity. That was a tough third foul that she got, and it was just hard for Texas to have to play without her for that long of a stretch during the first half.
No doubt about it. By the way, it was a timeout called by Dawn Staley to sub out fresh players in there now with 1:14 to go. And the Longhorns do likewise. Jordana Codillo in the ball game for the first time for Texas, the 6'1" junior from right here in the state of Florida, Winter Garden. Bounce, pass goes underneath. Taylor Jones with a shot blocked, and the shot clock went off. So it's a shot clock violation. No, it wasn't. Well, they counted the basket. They counted the basket, and the clock never stopped either.
I was wondering if you saw that.
Yeah, under a minute to go.
Yeah.
Everybody's out to lunch at this point
It
now.
never stopped.
It never stopped. It was supposed to stop inside of a minute. Meanwhile, Preston drives in, and she scores. But that basket counted. So it was Adele Tak from South Grand Prairie who had just checked in. She got credit for that bucket. And then Brianna Preston gets the bucket there. Longhorns down 15, but a three-pointer. Knocked down from the left side, and the three-pointer that time pushes the South Carolina margin to 20. Mariam Dada knocks down the three-pointer. And this will be the final possession of the season as Preston on the dribble sends a pass into the corner. Codillo to fire up a three. It's good. So Jordana with a memory there as she knocks it down. South Carolina will inbound, and that's going to do it. The Longhorns will fall by 17. The season will end at 35-4. In the Longhorns' first trip to the Final Four in 22 years. Final score here tonight from Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. The South Carolina Gamecocks 74, the Texas Longhorns 57. South Carolina advances to the national championship game on Sunday afternoon. The Gamecocks will take on the winner of the second game here tonight between UCLA and UConn. Kathy, to your point, the two early fouls hurt for Texas when they'd had the early momentum. It kind of stunted the momentum there for the Longhorns. And then after that, the other thing that really hurt, the third foul, because it really did take Texas out of its offensive flow.
Well, this basketball game was decided to me by one stat: the points in the paint. Texas. It was just there was no resistance at all around the rim on either end of the court for South Carolina. Just they drove it, they scored, they shot easy jumpers in the paint. So just a really, really.
Cindy Carter joins us down on the court right now. Sid, I want to get your thoughts on that The foul difficulty obviously hurt on the offensive game, and then the points in the paint. Were those two of the things that stood out to you about how this game turned?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again? I'm having trouble hearing.
Sure, yeah, I know it's really noisy down there. The points in the paint for South Carolina, and then obviously the foul trouble for Madison. Were those two of the key things as you saw them in how this game turned in the second quarter?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't give them 22 points in the paint in the first half, and then you come out in the third quarter and you have a bad quarter. Our coach talked about that in the last game in the NCAA tournament. You have one bad quarter, and that kind of just sets the tone for everything else. And so I think we only had 9 points that quarter. They had 20. So that's what stands out to me the most is, we pride ourselves on defense, and that's just not a good defensive effort on our behalf.
Well, let me get one more thought from you about this. I know this just happened in all this, but this is a historic season, going 35-4. How do you view this in the prism of building what Coach Schaefer and what the staff has done to get it to this point, to get it to the Final Four for the first time in 20 years?
Yeah,
22.
I mean, I think you get a feeling of what it feels like to be here, and now you understand what it really takes. There's no plays off, how hard you have to work, and so Coach Schaefer has always done a good job of putting his team in positions, to get to this place. And so obviously, we're really proud of the season that we've had. We wish that we could play one more game in the season, but we don't want to feel this again. And I remember when I was playing and I lost this game the year before I won a national championship, but I didn't want to feel that again. And so I'm sure that's going to be the message from Coach Schaefer is remember how this feels and let it fuel you for the next season, because now you've been here. Now you've got experience. This was your first time this year. A lot of people can say, well, they haven't been here before, so it's okay. But in our minds, now we've got something to work for. This game is going to play in our heads, and this defensive effort is going to play in our heads, and we're going to move on to the next thing.
Sid, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, that's Longhorns assistant Sydney Carter, who joins us down there on the floor. Final score here tonight. South Carolina wins it by a score of 74-57. We'll bring you the post-game news conference coming up, and we'll recap it, look at the final numbers, and a whole lot more when our post-game show comes up. Texas women's basketball from the NCAA Women's Final Four continues in a moment.
WinStar World Casino and Resort is your place to feel like a star. Catch some of the biggest names at the brand new Lucas Oil Live. Dine in style with countless restaurants and bars. Or pamper yourself in the new multi-story WinStar Spa. WinStar is the place to get the star treatment you deserve.
Here in Texas, we know that trust is earned and reputation matters. Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and that Texans can respect. A firm where no defendant is too big and no case is too small. Backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients, Thomas J. Henry remains the name you can depend on if you have been injured. Trust the firm that stands for you. Trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Austin, Texas.
You've been listening to Texas Women's Basketball from the NCAA Women's Final Four in Tampa, Florida. Join us year-round for Texas Longhorns play-by-play broadcasts on Austin's iHeart radio stations. AM 1300 The Zone, 103.1 FM, and 98.1 FM KVAD.
The season ends for the Texas Longhorns tonight as the Longhorns fall to the South Carolina Gamecocks. We welcome you back here to Emily Arena in Tampa, Florida here, the NCAA Women's National Semifinal, where South Carolina defeated Texas by a final score of 74-57. Craig Way and Kathy Harston with you, and we heard Sydney Carter talking about it, and it comes down to a lot of the same things you talked about. They like to say in football, it's a pretty simple game, blocking and tackling. And when it comes to basketball, I got to make shots and play defense.
Well, I really love what Sydney just said, Craig, because there's really only one team that finished the season with a win, and it's the team that's going to win on Sunday afternoon. But what she said about you don't want to feel this again is what will drive them through the rest of the remainder of the school year, throughout the summer, as you get ready for next year. And I know Coach Schaefer is as proud as he is of this season and what this team has done. And there's only 4 teams here for a reason, and they got here. But he will remind them, we're not going to feel that way ever again. You know, I just love her saying that she got beat the year before, and then the next year you finish with a national championship. But again, there's a lot of work that goes into that, and this team will put that type of work in, and you just, you know, you start over tomorrow and try to get back here again and win it. But, you know, Craig, South Carolina, great team. Texas, great team. Just, the foul trouble and just not being able to knock down key shots. And again, that third quarter, getting outscored 20-9 in this type of environment and setting, it just makes it tough to overcome.
No doubt about it. Final score 74-57. When we come back, we'll take a look at the final stats, and we'll wrap it up from here in Tampa as Texas falls to South Carolina 74-57. Texas women's basketball continues in a moment.
WinStar World Casino and Resort is your bars. Or pamper yourself in the new multi-story WinStar Spa. WinStar is the place to get the star treatment you deserve.
Ready to drive to the hoop? Pull up to Onion Creek Volkswagen, where our deals are nothing but net. Whether you want to slam dunk on a new Jetta or go downtown with a pre-owned Tiguan, we'll call the perfect play for you. Visit Onion Creek Volkswagen today and score big with our unbeatable offers. Don't miss your shot. Visit us at Onion Creek Volkswagen, where every deal is a buzzer beater. Onion Creek Volkswagen, Austin's most valuable dealership.
Texas falls here in the national semifinal. South Carolina 74-57. Look at the final numbers of this. And again, remember the Longhorns had started off well enough. They hit 7 of 14 shots in the first quarter. And they only hit 15 shots the rest of the ball game. They wound up 22 out of 56. So, in other words, the Longhorns only hit 15 out of their remaining 42 shots in the basketball game and wound up at 39%. South Carolina started a little chilly and then got hot and then stayed hot, and they wound up at 51%, 29 out of 57. What helped was the Gamecocks shooting 7 of 11 from three-point range. The Longhorns 4 of 10 beyond the arc, which, by the way, pretty good for because Texas was only a 30% three-point shooting team coming in, and they hit 4 three-pointers in 10 attempts. But South Carolina 7 of 11. Both teams were 9 of 12 from the foul line. 15 Texas, turnovers to 13 for the Gamecocks. South Carolina had the edge in the points off the turnovers, 14 to 8. But that points in the paint thing, it starts with rebounding. South Carolina had a 36 to 29 edge there. Second chance points went to Texas 9-8. But the points in the paint, 40 to 22 favor South Carolina. Bench points 35-27 favor the Gamecocks. The fast break points 15 to 3. Blocks were even at 5. Steals 7 for South Carolina, 6 for Texas, and the assists 17 for the Gamecocks, 10 for the Longhorns. There were 2 ties and 7 lead changes. All of it in the first half. South Carolina led by 3 at intermission, 38-35. Immediately pushed the margin out to 8, and then it rotated between 8 and 6 points for about 5 minutes. Then the Gamecocks went on that 11-0 run that pushed the margin out to 17, and the Longhorns were unable to recover from that. They were outscored in the third quarter 20 to 9. It was the third time this year the Longhorns scored only 9 points in a quarter against South Carolina. The other 2 times were the 2 losses in the state of South Carolina, the regular season matchup on January 12th in Columbia and the SEC Tournament Championship on March 9th. Individually, for the Gamecocks, leading scorer was Tahina Paopao. She had 14 points on 5 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 beyond the arc, and added a free throw. They got 13 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double from Joyce Edwards, 11 points from Bree Hall, 9 from Tessa Johnson, 6 each from Sanaya Fagan and Chloe Kitts. They got 7 points from Elisha Fulwiley, 4 from Mariam Dada, 2 points as well from Adhel Tak, 2 points from Raven Johnson. The Longhorns led by Jordan Lee. She had 16 points in the ball game on 6 of 12 shooting, 3 of 7 beyond the arc. Madison Booker, saddled with foul difficulty, was only able to play 24 minutes. She was 5 of 11 from the floor, hit 1 free throw in 2 attempts. She had 11 points and 1 rebound. Those were the only 2 Longhorns in double-figure scoring. They got 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists from Rory Harmon. After that, 7 points, 5 boards from Jacqueline Nguyen-Ntanda. 4 points each from Taylor Jones, Kyla Oldacre, and Brianna Preston. Jones, by the way, added 8 rebounds in her final game as a Texas Longhorn. Jordana Codillo scored 3 points in the game. Justice Carlton did not score, and neither did Shea Holly in her final game as a collegiate. So, 74-57 the final. Texas concludes the season 35-4. In the NCAA era, it ties the UT record for most wins in a season with 35. Now, they did get 37 back in 78, 79 in the AIAW area, and you played in the AIAW area, so there was some good basketball back then.
Absolutely, I did, and it's played in the Final Four in 78, and there's been a lot of talk. This is the first time UCLA has been to the Final Four since the AIAW Final Four, which was actually in Pauley Pavilion at UCLA. That was Annie Meyer's senior year, and they ended up winning it. The late, great Billy Moore was the coach of UCLA at that time. So, yeah, I mean, gosh, look at this, Craig, this arena. I mean, women's basketball, this has just been an amazing experience. And I think when our team gets home and has a time to reflect, I mean, just the media here and the attention. Madison Booker on the front page of the New York Times sports section today. I mean, it's just priceless, the amount of publicity. I know Texas would do anything, would give anything for the game to have not ended like it did. But, you know, you got to give credit to South Carolina. They've been here, they've done it, and you know, they did it again this evening. So, but again, for Texas, a great season, just a tremendous learning experience. Gosh, you think about all the sweat and what Shea Holly has given this program and the University of Texas and Taylor Jones. You're just so appreciative of those players and what they have done for our athletic department and how the way they've represented themselves as student athletes. And we, from an administrative standpoint, just could not be prouder of this team and Coach Schaefer. You know, there's a lot of teams at home watching tonight, and the Texas Longhorns were in the national semifinals. So, again, we all wanted to win, but just wasn't meant to be tonight. But Texas will be back.
Yeah, no question about it. And we'll look forward to the great signing class that Vic has had and what the future will hold. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed the season with you again, Kathy. Good to have you back this year.
Yeah, hey, let me tell you what, it's great to be back, and you know, we just turn our attention to our spring sports, which are pretty good at the University of Texas. Bob Bowman's swimming team won a national championship last weekend, and you know, baseball is doing so well. Just all of it. Rowing, just, you know, get home.
Softball's the number one team in the country.
Get back to our beach volleyball team is just doing great, and track and field, and just a lot going on outdoors now for Texas. So I'm looking forward to getting home, and you know, it's been a long 3 weeks. It's been a great 3 weeks for everyone, and just couldn't be prouder of this basketball team and Coach Schaefer and his staff.
No doubt about it. By the way, the Longhorn baseball team is up 3-0 on Georgia as Texas bats on the bottom of the fifth. And the two top 5 teams squaring off, both teams 8-1 in SEC play going into the weekend. And part of a 4-way tie atop the SEC standings, and Texas out to a 3-0 lead as they bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. Those games throughout the weekend can be heard on 103.1 FM. And we look forward to bringing you those contests throughout the course of the rest of the season. Thanks so much to everybody. All season long, we've helped bring you Texas women's basketball. We've had Cameron Parker as our engineer and filled in on play-by-play when I had scheduling conflicts. Same thing with Roger Wallace. Glad to have him as well. And then, of course, Cole Dixon, our studio producer tonight, and also Wisdom Anderson. Thanks to those two guys for everything they've done. And then thanks as well also to our people in charge there with you know, Jason McCollum there, and also Brian Erickson paving the way for to give us the opportunity to bring you these games on the big signal of 98.1 FM KVAT. We were happy to be able to do that tonight as well. So we thank all of you for listening. We'll look forward to 2025-2026 is perhaps the next step in this Vic Schaefer era. He gets the Longhorns to the Final Four for his first time as the head coach at Texas, and also for the first time for the Longhorns in 22 years. Once again, the final score, the South Carolina Gamecocks 74, the Texas Longhorns 57. For Kathy Harston, I'm Craig Way. Thanks for joining us, and good night from Tampa, Florida.
You've been listening to Texas Women's Basketball from the NCAA Women's Final Four in Tampa, Florida. Join us year-round for Texas Longhorns play-by-play broadcasts on Austin's iHeart radio stations. AM 1300 The Zone, 103.1 FM, and 98.1 FM KVAD.
.1 KVAD, Austin's all-time country favorites, and the iHeart Country Festival's hometown station.